Hey, yo.
Somebody pass out every day, every event. Come on,
At least you wasn't rapping yet.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Freestyle about it.
Every event. Every event. I thought we was going to be event free when nobody passed out through the car. Oh, come on.
Yo, let's get it. Murder Ave Gang, stand the fuck up. Yo, fit is on you. Everybody hold it down.
Yo.
Hold it down, hold it down. Let's get it.
Yo, y'all hear me?
Brooklyn, stand up.
Yeah. Turn me up.
Turn it up. Back up a little bit.
Yo, turn me the fuck up. Let's get it. All right, y'all hear me? Hey, yo. First time on URL. And it might be my last, in fact, because I might not keep it rap and let the ratchets clap back to back. Like fuck the chit chat and listen that, be that. We scrap. I rip the contract. They cash act smack back the racks. Yo. Yeah. I don't give They cash act smack back the racks.
Hold it down.
The cash act smack back the racks. I don't give a fuck about that. I got a loose screw. I shoot too. The deuce let a few loose. I'm a true goon. Jazz was talking hot. Thinking you cute? Bitch, who you? Official don't live in Brooklyn, bitch. You do. But fuck that.
Go!
Y'all hear me? But fuck that. I squeeze the beam. And the even things for popping shit, I'll drop a clip. Deleted scenes. That's your buku. Peep the scheme. You get killed at Jazz feet. I get a bitch from the boot cut. And you could die on the kicks like bleeding jeans. You could get shot. You could get shot. You could get shot on the spot for just a stare. It'll be tragic. I'll beat her like Tina. Fuck you, shit get your ass whipped. I'm basically asking you how you want it. Angela Valdez or Angela Bassett? So yeah, get like me. I'll off you likely. That gun work, let it jerk. You was talking spicy. Pull over with the tech. Yeah, get like me. I'll off you likely. That gun work, let it jerk. You was talking spicy. Pull over with the tech. Nothing on me, Nike. I want everything. Yeah, get like me. I'll off you likely. That gun work, let it jerk. You was talking spicy. Pull over with the tech. Nothing on me, Nike. I want everything, even your dogs too. Divorcing wifey. I often might be the type to hold the heat, let it fly. You stink, it makes sense. Bitches reek when they die. Hey. Bitches reek when they die. Hey, this the last time y'all gonna see it alive. I hit it with the... Y'all would think I'm teaching Lamaze.
Go!
look big. Your face is ungodly, and that waist shaped oddly, and your belt screaming for help like, please untie me. I mean, you fucking bitch.
Hello, guys. This is Yakira Gorgeous.
I'm just Jen.
Yaya Bombshell.
You know the infamous three is back together. We are Her Point of View. If you guys are new to our podcast, we're a couple ladies, a couple queens that talk our shit about any and everything. And we're going to first start off with the news. We do have a special guest coming up, which is going to be really good. It's going to be a little bit different from what we're used to talking about. I know we get crazy with talking our shit, but we're going to talk our shit first. And then he'll come on, and then you guys will definitely get to meet him, and he's going to share his story. You guys are going to love it, because I loved it when I found out about the story. But anyways, go ahead, Jen. Take him to the news.
So this is...
Wait. Okay.
Go ahead. No, go.
I guess after the
Oh, wait. No. Nikki has a
gosh.
surprise for me before we get started.
So, I got her a gift, you know. It's a little late birthday gift, but it's okay. And, you know,
Late.
it's for her to
I love
like,
gifts.
on her new job or whatever. So I'm going to
Okay.
give it to her now, whatever.
Cheers to the bosses, yeah. Things have to be bad for the clap.
Oops.
All right,
Don't
let's
worry.
see.
Why did you unpack it like
I'm
that?
gonna fuck this bitch up. I love it, Nikki. It's so cute.
It looks like you. Look.
Oh, wow. No, it don't look like me because it don't got a big forehead.
It's okay.
Meanie.
And here is your next gift.
Ooh.
Yo, I
Do y'all
can't.
see what it say on there? It say Bottega Veneta. Okay.
I was
Bottega
wondering how to
Veneta. Oh shit! What are we technical
Yeah.
difficulties?
Technical difficulties.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Can they see? Oh, okay.
Yo.
Okay.
We're on
Yes,
camera.
that
That's...
Yeah.
Y'all see me? I'm about to.
I could
I'm
totally-
wearing this shit everywhere. I'm wearing this shit everywhere. This is fat, bro. That
is really cute.
It's so much bigger in person.
It is.
I love it. Thank you, Bestie.
You're welcome.
I love y'all.
Such a cute gift.
It's so cute. Thank you. All right. Let's move on. Enough of me.
Not for her.
I'm excited. Oh!
My bad.
I don't like hearing my voice.
All right, so we're going to get into all the stories that happened this week. Like, the latest one was last night. Did you guys watch the Gucci Man and Jeezy versus battle?
No.
We tried.
Me and her was on FaceTime.
That song that
yeah.
they performed, they did it together. Situations happened. Supposedly, Jeezy put a hit out on him for $10,000 and for his chain.
Put a
And the
hit out
dude
on Gucci for
On
10,000?
Gucci.
For 10,000?
Now, I mean, this is
To
20
get
years
his
ago.
chain?
To get
To
Gucci's
get his-
chain,
if you get his
or,
chain,
or
like,
to
yeah.
kill him.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
Jeezy's man, the guy Pookie Loke, he came and Gucci killed him. And that's
Because
why he's self-defense.
Wow.
And that's why
Now
Gucci
I
went to
understand why
jail.
you said
And
that.
also he beat the murder.
Uh-huh.
So that's why this has been going on for 15 years in Atlanta. And then that's why it was like so big.
And they never really like
Yeah.
made up, like they never had like those like a conversation or anything. Like they were still kind of feuding, like, and even Jeezy.
I mean, they
asked
killed one of his
him-
boys.
I know.
But I mean, he got a hit put out on him.
Yeah,
I know.
so why not? Like,
I don't know how you let that go. I mean, even but now like after they said like after Gucci went to jail and Jeezy is like, you know, a businessman now. Like they're both like different people.
Good.
But like
It's still
during
a
the
little,
versus
like-
battle, like you could tell like Gucci was still throwing so much
Shots.
shit.
I heard he
Oh,
was
yeah.
throwing a lot of subliminals.
There was
Oh,
one-
it wasn't nothing
yeah.
subliminal
Oh,
about
it was
it.
very
he,
direct?
he was he literally was like
He said he told Jeezy, anybody else that you gonna send, I'm gonna send them back in the box to you.
yeah.
He also said, you know how like they
Yeah,
say
I
they
would say
smoking
that
on their
too.
dead
Like,
friends.
you try to put
he
a
said
hit
he
on
was
me?
smoking on Pookie Loke, which is the dude who came and he killed.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
You know what? I have to applaud Jeezy for that because not the hit part, but I'm just saying like for him to be like so
The
like,
bigger man.
Yeah, the bigger man in this situation. That's crazy because if somebody keeps throwing like direct shots at me, I don't even know how I would react.
I know.
You
That's
know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why everybody kind of like took his side and was like, he
came
won
to
this
his
versus
house
because,
and tried
yeah.
to kill? Like,
Yeah.
that's a little
That's
good.
a
I
little
know that's what I'm thinking too.
Like,
Well, they were like his story is like they were actually they said that we're gonna kill you, and then all of a sudden like he was at some girl's house. Gucci was at a girl's house, and then they ran up in her house, like Jeezy's people, and they were like attacking him, like beating him up. And then they said we're gonna kill you, and then he like took a gun out and started shooting randomly. Like he didn't know who he was shooting.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he murdered his friend.
It's self-defense though.
It is
Yes.
self-defense. They were
I feel
gonna
like it
kill
was
him,
so
and
long
was-
ago that,
yeah.
you know, we don't have to keep carrying it on. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody, I guess, got their fair one in this. Like, Jeezy set a hit out, and then he killed one of his men. It should be just done, squashed, right? Especially
Yeah.
if it was, like, years ago. But, yes, I heard Gucci was definitely being childish. I heard he
But I
kept
feel
on.
like I feel like it's because they never been like face to face.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like they've always like, you know, been behind closed doors like talking shit to each other, but now they're face to face. I feel like Jeezy was like, okay, I'm letting it go still, but I feel like when Gucci finally, you know, like when you're just like, oh, I'm over it, but then you see somebody in person, you're like, you know what? I really don't fucking like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what it was. Like, he maybe saw him in person. It was just like, you know what? This is actually pissing me off all over
Now
again.
Fuck the verses. Let's fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Also, where they did it at Magic City
Iconic.
is like iconic. That's where they both of their careers started. So this was just like way bigger than just like them.
So, whose side was you on? Like, were you team Jeezy? Were you team Gucci?
I like Gucci.
Me personally,
Huh?
or
Yeah.
so. I mean, Jeezy kicked his ass. Jeezy had hits after hits after hits, but I had to respect. My bad, Jen. I had to respect. You could use the other one for that.
I was trying to move
Yeah.
the paper for a second.
Nah,
Okay,
but
okay.
I think Jeezy kicked his ass musically, but like you gotta respect Gucci energy. I mean, the man sent somebody to kill him,
Yeah.
and I
But
see.
like I said, but when is it time that you squash something?
Well,
Like, you
it
know
was
what I mean?
time. They squashed it.
They squashed it
Yeah.
exactly. So I feel like they should
So-
be like as grown men. Just
But like, you know, I see a lot of people talking about Jeezy being a grown man.
yeah, I saw
Think
that.
about what it took for Gucci to stand across from the man who sent somebody to kill him.
True.
You know,
That's
nobody
what
ain't
I'm
talking about
saying.
that. So,
That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I'm so big.
but
That's
musically
true.
though,
But I
bullshit
said I would have
aside,
never accepted that offer. I wouldn't be wanting to go against somebody that tried to
That's
kill
what-
me anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel
Well,
like he
remember,
wanted
this
to
is-
see
this
him
is
in person for a
bigger
reason.
than it's bigger than them two. You know, this is hip hop. You know, a lot of people getting killed, gun violence. They wanted to like.
And I heard Jeezy was just like basically like, you know, like black. He was basically like Black Lives Matter, you know, this is for this person that died this year and then that person or whatever. And Gucci like, fuck that, I'm smoking on whoever the guy he killed. Like, it's just like, damn, you know, like, I don't know. I feel like it's just.
think like you put a hit on me. Like
You put a hit on me, but
like-
you also got to think that he also killed one of his men.
But you put a hit on me. Like
But you put a hit. I don't know.
Yeah.
That could be debated about for
Yeah.
hours. Like, I don't know.
But the thing is like, I never. If you weren't over, then you shouldn't have done the battle.
I think they
like,
paid him a lot.
That's
of
what I'm
money.
saying.
Yeah,
But
it's-
how much
yeah.
money can you take when you're facing a man that put out a hit on you? You're coming there for multiple different
And he
reasons.
already has money. Like I don't think that would.
That wasn't
been,
a
like,
factor.
And he also like rejected him at first, and then I think he really was like mentally in a state where it's like, yeah, whatever, I'm over it now.
Right,
And
and then
then
get on
he
there.
realized,
I feel like
like,
he was
this
trying
shit
to.
is-
He was definitely trying to have like some type of show. Like I don't know.
I think so,
for the
too.
people. He
'Cause
was.
the
He was
first
showing.
song
he
He was
played
showing
was
off.
like the song that like what's it called? Like when what's it called? Like when rappers like a diss record. The first song was like a diss record against him, which was like the start of the whole entire like feud.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's not over it. So why take something that you're just not?
I think
over?
after hearing his own diss records for the past, I think like just feelings got brought up that he didn't realize would get brought up, and then like
And then he was
Jeezy-
drunk.
That's why I say Jeezy. Yeah, he was drunk, and then Jeezy, I think that's why he was the bigger man because he saw like, oh, you're trying to bait me into this fight that I don't stop it. Yeah.
But I liked how like it went. Like it was just so funny to me because I kept seeing on social media how like Gucci was like, yeah, my outfit cost $10,000,
that's what
and then
everybody
Jeezy
talks
was
about.
like, yeah, but I own half of Atlanta in real estate, and it was
Yeah, I heard about
just
that.
you can see the difference of a man there.
He
Like
said if this was a versus battle like with jewelry, I have $5 billion in jewelry. We're not doing a versus battle with jewelry.
jewelry, like
is
what are
it?
we talking about? now. Is Gucci our age or I'm lost? Like,
No, he's older than us. He's
no, but I'm
definitely,
saying the way he's acting is
acts like a
like
child.
he's like in his
Well,
20s.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of like guys that act like Gucci first of all.
I just feel like as celebrities, you shouldn't even be acting like that. Like, we know you have money. We know your outfit is pretty. We're pretty sure your outfit costs more than $10,000. Like,
Exactly.
kudos to you. That's why Jesus is probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're still a child. Like, that's probably what pissed him off even more, which is why he was like saying the things that he was.
Probably in his
'cause
head was like,
ego
"That's why I
it.
sent that fucking hit." Cause this nigga he said, "Cause this nigga talk too much."
Yeah, dead.
Yeah.
This nigga talking about anybody saying anything in the chat about this controversy?
A lot.
Wait, who's Team Gucci and who's Team Jeezy? Let's see.
Someone said, D. Campbell said, "You're gonna die holding on to shit. When you die, people will mourn for you and then go get something to eat. So what's the point holding on to shit?"
Agreed.
Very good point.
That's what I'm saying.
It really is.
He's like, I'm holding on to that shit till I die.
They said Gucci's 40 years old, holding grudges and flossing like he's 20. They said they've been face to face. However, this was a time for Gucci to get that off his chest, and Jeezy was real enough to allow it without overreacting.
I have to respect. I think he was just trying to play it business wise, like, let's just do this for the culture, the music, and stuff like that. And Gucci was like trying to put on a show for the people. That's how it came off to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even watch it, but I kept seeing so many things. But let's talk about things that were happening in the fucking chat.
Yeah.
Oh my, you saw that?
So T.I. called out like 600 Breezy. I guess they have some sort of beef. all these things were happening in the chat. Then I'm finding out that Quavo and Regine fuck around. And I'm just like, what the
There was
fuck?
a whole lot of shit going on.
That was so
What the
cool.
fuck?
He says that it didn't happen, but why would you even? First of all, why would you say that in a chat? Like the guy who wrote to him in the chat, he's like a comedian, which is like maybe he was just trying to be funny. His name was Gerald Houston, and he asked Quavo, "Are you still fucking Regine?" I don't know how to say her name.
Regine.
Regine. Regine. Which is like the weirdest thing to ask somebody.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why would you bring up something if you don't really? I don't know. People do so many crazy things. People do so many crazy things for like, for for the Instagram fans, I guess you can say. But it's just like, that's crazy to me. Like in my head, I'm like, well, why would he make that up? You know what I'm saying? Unless he didn't know something.
Yeah.
But then it's like, you don't know because people just be talking and shit.
Yeah, and like honestly, it's true. Like what Quavo said, he was like, "No, the internet's crazy, man. Not Weezy's daughter, no." And I'm like, yeah, I don't picture him fucking. I mean, he's capable.
Why?
Yeah.
I
I don't think anybody would have.
What?
They have too much respect with.
She out here.
Isn't she still fucking with Lucci?
Young. I thought it was young. She's having a baby with.
Ooh,
Oh no, that's Yaya.
not Regine.
God, I'm getting
Who's
them all
that? Oh,
confused.
yeah.
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 Of course, always doing something. Anybody say anything else in the chat?
Let's see.
Somebody asked if R. Kelly's Sully. He said, "Do y'all think that they will make a joint album?" That would be very big of them.
Said they have like new music coming
together?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
So
they
maybe
would
that's
do it.
what it.
I think
what
like
this was
after
for.
seeing how much like because there was millions of people in that
1.8.
watching the verse. Yeah, that was crazy.
That's the highest that a Versus has ever
Yeah.
done. Wow.
That's the highest that's ever been on Instagram.
And I don't even listen to neither.
I think that
I only
he
know one
broke
song from
6ix9ine.
Gucci.
I think I only know like
Yeah.
one song from
Freaky
Jeezy
girl.
and Uchi. Yeah. Yeah. That's about it. I didn't watch it because that didn't catch my eye.
I only watched it like because I knew like I was like, oh, we're definitely gonna talk about it, and then like the guy like that I'm talking to like was like, are you watching this? So it felt like a concert. It was like a concert date. 'Cause we both were watching it and like.
See, I only would have been in there to be messy and try to figure out what's going on
Yeah.
in the comments. That's
I saw the
about
comments, I
it.
saw like every celebrity like in there like commenting. I was like, well, this is kind of lit in here. Something to do on a Thursday night. There's nothing
And
to
I
do.
didn't say that, Nikki. I was like, this is
nothing
probably
to
like
do.
some big ass concert.
Yeah, right.
We were on FaceTime just like, yo, what the fuck is going on? waiting for shit to be posted.
And that was the thing, like I was looking at that, like the Shade Room didn't post anything about it. I guess like maybe they didn't want to incite like people's comments. I don't know why
They didn't say anything about
They
it?
didn't post at all about it.
Wow.
Oh, they didn't actually.
No, because
I
we
found
were
it
looking
so
at
weird.
Gossip in the City.
Yeah.
And then I was watching
Me
from
too.
your
I was looking for
before
more. I was like,
Instagram.
yeah, nothing about it.
But wow, because
Very
I was
weird.
trying to look for the Shade Room. I didn't know how to get into the verses. I'm like, where the fuck do you find this shit?
She's on IG.
Yeah, it's like versus TV.
On their
You just
own.
got the link.
Yeah, but I went on their page, right? I would think that they would have the link in their bio or something.
It's on their
it's
story.
live.
It's
It's
live.
live.
Instagram
Oh,
live.
so when I tried to go in, I guess it was over?
Maybe.
You went through
Baby.
every possible scenario.
I was trying to check I'm like, yo, where is it? I went on Gucci page, Jeezy page. I couldn't find shit. I said, I'm like, ain't this some shit? I can't find this
I
shit.
don't know the conclusion you came to was like,
I
oh,
was
so when I come
I was
to
like, I'm trying too hard. It's okay. Carrie, you missed out on this one.
Yo, dead.
I want to see like some Ashanti versus some fucking
I know. Well,
Keisha
they
Cole.
have
Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
I would be in there.
I'll be in there singing all the
So
songs,
sad.
going through all this heartbreak.
No, what?
You miss Jill Scott and Erykah Badu.
Yeah, they are. I don't know if it's enough to pull me in. I don't know if it's enough to pull me
not
in. That
like-
might have been a little bit before my time, but
I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's our generation. Like, our generation is like Ashanti.
yeah, well,
Keisha
I'm
Cole.
good with Ashanti and Keisha Cole.
Yeah,
That's
I
about
would be
it.
in there.
And that
trying to
shit,
think,
singing
like,
every
even-
song.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who
Ooh,
else.
if 50 Cent and T.I. did his the verses, I will definitely be in there.
Or 50 Cent Ja Rule, they were saying. Because
Ooh,
they have
Ja
a feud.
Rule.
But 50 Cent got more
Now I
hits.
think that they're pushing 50 Cent in game.
I'm still good on that, but
Nah, but I don't know if 50
50
Cent in the
Cent's so
game.
funny that, like, honestly, I would just watch
I don't know.
for
50
him.
Cent got hits, yo.
He does. But more than the game, I think.
Yes, way
Right,
more than
way
the game.
more. It's not an even competition.
I don't think
Yeah,
so. That
I
wouldn't
think
be
50
a good
Cent and
battle.
T.I. I feel like that would be really
That'd be good.
Yeah, I probably know like one T.I. song.
Really?
Really? I feel like if you heard them, you would be like,
Maybe
oh,
I
I've heard
would,
this
yeah.
song. That's how I felt
Yeah.
about Jeezy. I was like, is he even... Because I know most Gucci songs. But Jeezy, I was like, oh, I know all these songs. Like, I heard them when I was, like in high school or something.
Yeah, high school.
And you know what? On my Instagram, it was just so crazy because I was thinking that like most of them would be going to, like towards Jeezy, but there was so much
No,
like
everybody was for Gucci.
in between. People were going here, and I was like, wow, like I would have never known. But I don't know. I know. Oh, thank you. I love porn, and you do too.
Yo, what?
Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. They asked a
What's
question.
Carmel? What's that mean? Who is that, Jen?
Oh, Jen, you're a caramel chick.
Who's Carmel?
She's single and need a man. He gave $2.99, so he's trying to figure.
Yo, done.
We're $2.90. Oh, is it Pornhub though? Like, I'm confused by it.
I think it is for her. I don't know.
Pornhub?
Answer the question. The Pornhub wants to know.
I am single. I don't know if I don't need a man. First of all, I'm quoting Rihanna on that. I don't need. There's like this little Yeah, there's. I don't need one. Maybe I want one though. I don't know. It's cold outside. And
It's getting cold
quarantine.
outside.
Quarantine's kind of starting to hit. So the other story that happened was like Meg Thee Stallion's album came out. You see
good.
That was
It's a really good album.
Is it really?
I
good?
like it because
I
I was
like it a
listening
lot.
to it on my way here.
Yeah, it's good. I
I've
really.
seen a whole bunch of like mixed feeds.
Because you know what it is with Megan is like a lot of her music sounds the same. So I feel
I
like a lot
know.
of
This
people are
was
like, all right,
different.
we heard something like
She's
this.
never like a
but
pop song on there. That was
It's
like,
good.
It's good.
Oh, I
Because
really
now
download
she's
it.
signed to like
Rock
Rock.
Nation.
Yeah, so I feel like it's like different producers and stuff. It's really good. But one song she throws shots at her friend Kelsey and Tori. You didn't hear the first song?
Oh, you didn't hear
Shots
that?
fired?
That shit was all on the shade.
What's
room,
the one
everything.
that's been like going viral on YouTube? I
I
mean,
would
on
say Shots
Instagram.
Fired is the one that everybody's talking
Yeah,
about.
that's
Right now.
the one with
I thought the
I
one
think
with
it's
Bernice.
Biggie's.
Oh,
that's
That's the
Body.
one that I like.
Body,
Body.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
like
like
that one.
Yeah, that song. That's
She has
really good.
China and Jordan Woods,
Yeah.
which I
Yes.
felt like was in her mind like a little dig at Kylie because she used Kylie in the last video, and now she's using.
Whoa.
And he was like
China.
Black China and Jordan.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, she's trying to say something.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, you have to listen to that song. It's really like.
What
she's
is it
really
about?
good.
Like, what are the
She
shots
just
that she's
talks
throwing?
about like she's just saying like Tori's a child. She talks about like what happened in the car again that night, how he was like bragging about his Instagram followers in the back seat, and then she says that like her friend is jealous of her, and she's like jealous of all the guys that are like now trying to fuck her because she's famous. Which I could definitely.
But then I heard Kelsey was like,
Yeah,
it's
she's
the
like-
other way around.
Wow.
And then she deleted the comment, and then her sister like backed her up and was like,
Kelsey's sister.
yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know. But then remember the story that you found that supposedly like Kelsey and Tory Lanez was messing around. And
Exactly.
then Megan.
Right, was doing it on the low.
But then
it's
I'm
who
just
do you really
confused,
believe?
like, how did the gun... I don't know.
I know.
I was just like,
No, he shot her. Like, her blood was, like, on the fucking concrete. Because we go back and forth about this all the time. Like, we will never agree on that shit. Because I'm like, well, then who the fuck did she shot herself? Like, come on. Like, is she going to shoot herself for a story?
Yeah.
No.
That's all. Yeah.
okay.
But they can't talk about it. It's
Tory
obvious. And I'm
Lanez
pretty...
living his life in fucking Mexico. Like, he's living his fucking life in Mexico.
But didn't he pay them to not say something? I heard about that.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Oh, his friends? He paid his friends?
No,
to
he
listen?
paid Megan and Kelsey
Kelsey.
to be
So
quiet.
I don't know if y'all heard, but Meg did a diss track. Like it wasn't on the album. I don't think it was like on the side.
Oh.
I don't know
They
if it was
put
on
it
the
out
album.
yet?
I didn't listen to the album.
It probably has to be Shots Fired. That's
Yeah.
like the biggest.
Yeah.
So he accused her friend of switching sides and taking money
Yeah.
from Tory.
That might have been. Yeah, that's the same song.
Yeah.
She talks about that.
Do you
too.
really think that she took the money from Tory?
Absolutely.
Nee, that's why she's not talking.
But where's the loyalty to your friend?
Yeah.
Were they?
But
Well, I
then
mean, like,
if your
were they
friend
really
is-
friends? You know
Yo,
what I mean?
man,
Like, what
this
kind of
is
friends were
this
they?
what goes back to like
Let's see.
bad decisions over like men.
Okay.
Because I think he shot her.
Okay, thank
I
you.
think he offered her money,
Yeah.
and I think she took it. And she was like y'all said, they fighting over him anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're fighting over them. I don't think that he's in their life anymore. Because think about it, like, I guess, like, didn't he unfollow, like, both of them or something like that or whatever? I feel like the only reason why, like, Kelsey feels away is because it's like, bruh, like, Megan, like, stop telling this story. Like, I dealt with him first. You came in and dealt with him on the low. You get what I'm saying? So it's like this whole, like, story with, like, she's not even mentioning that she even dealt with Tory Lanez after her best friend. So the loyalty was already cut there. So, I mean, if she took the money, then it's like, all right, well, I owe you no loyalty. Like, you already, like, fucked the old boy when I was already dealing with him. Think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, would she be wrong if she took the money to be quiet about it? At the end of the day, they're all being quiet because we still don't know what the fuck is going on.
But then I feel like it's a right and it's a wrong.
It's a right and it's a wrong, yeah. But at the same time, it's a right and it's a wrong of what Megan did to her as well.
Yeah, but it's like, damn, like, you shot my best friend.
Yeah.
Even though, like, you know.
And, like, even though we going through something.
It's like, damn.
See, that's another
really
thing
shot.
too. Like, I don't want. I think he shot her, but I don't think it was like, let me pull his gun out and shoot her.
Well, what the fuck the gun came out
Yeah,
for?
that's what I'm confused with.
That's what's Boss Black said.
What
Your
did the gun
friend-
come out for?
I mean, see, that's what nobody knows. I mean, there were stories that Meg
I
was
just can't
drunk.
wait till they go to court.
know?
So, like,
Right, like, will it come out when they go to court, or is
I
that
hope
still
so.
like?
Well, he pleaded not guilty, so she got a snitch. So either she gonna take the stand or he gonna walk away. It's one or the other.
Wow.
like that O.J. Simpson case.
Oh my God. Well, that is dramatic.
This goes back to men. Getting, this goes back to men getting their way with everything.
I know.
Wow. And she probably doesn't even want to deal with it anymore. She's probably like, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? But that's not a whatever situation.
Yeah.
What if she got mad and knew the gun was in the car and pulled the gun and he was trying to wrest it away from her and it fired?
Well, how could that be possible when she's walking away?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you mean? She holding the gun from behind? And
No, I'm saying, like, what if the gun was in the car and they got into an argument and she reached for the gun?
Because they were mad drunk.
They were mad drunk. I feel like their story is a little
skewed.
skewed because they were all so fucking drunk. Like, nobody knows anything that happened. I really feel like they just don't know what happened.
Yo,
Like, what the fuck? Like, what
Nobody
the
knows
fuck?
anything.
Am I, like, going crazy?
So DB Bronx is completely right. She got shot. She's the victim. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Okay.
So I you know.
Right,
Sorry,
right.
I'm still gonna listen to Tory Lanez album.
And then Boss Black said, if your friend fucks your man, there is no loyalty. Meg is the bad guy in this story, not the friend.
Yeah, but not the bad guy as far as getting shot.
Well,
Damn, it's like, damn, she fucked him, but damn, that doesn't
Not
really
for
lead
her
to
to
it.
get shot.
Yeah, that's some crazy karma right there.
Yeah, that's too much.
That's a lot. But like, yeah, she's right. Like, Kelsey owes her no loyalty. Like, you fucked her dude that she was fucking at the moment. That's your best friend. And then try to keep it away from her.
Like, dudes come and go, so can you really be?
Dudes come and go, but no, loyalty is what's questioned.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So no, you can't forgive somebody that fucks like.
And maybe this wasn't like the first time. You know what I mean? Maybe the friendship was already, because
like,
that's in my mind. Like it was, there has to have been other questionable things. Like it must have been built up already, and this was the.
This was it.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, Megan, nothing one of my niggas.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I'm tired of talking about Megan. I swear I'm tired of talking about her until we find out what the fuck going on.
Well, our guest is here.
Yes, our guest is here. Do we have any more news?
No, that's it for.
That is it for the news. All right, well, we're about to take it to break, and we're gonna have our guests come up when we come back. All right, so make sure you stay tuned. This is Yakira Gorgeous.
I'm just Jen.
Yeah, I got Bombshell.
Okay, all right. See you guys later. One in a second.
Respect the MCs, thank you.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear. Listen, I said right now, I'm just really hoping my PO don't see this battle. So I'm re-glancing. For serving this crackhead bitch, I'm just asking to get remanded. But I'ma chill. Let her kill herself, have a pump, give her 20 PC, and get the shit right back, make a copy of it for me. But before I give her the work, I'ma set the record straight so things don't get funny. I'll let that mad scare her if she don't make up my money. Throw her a couple nicks, might give her a dummy. Ajax mixed with poison, make her day look sunny. What you did? Use a bum ass nigga to get ammo. Try and discredit my name, but you can't though. See, I'm from the view where they let them cannons go. 5 Muslims behind me all ready to go ham, no? What you gonna say? How I work at Best Buy and I'm a manager there? What you gonna say? How I look like a boy now since I cut my hair? What you gonna say? How I fuck with Rex and I'm not celibate? Or how I used to fuck with, that nigga name is irrelevant? I hate his fucking guts. That's word to my God. His gossip ways just show me how truly bitch made he is. Ness said it's kill time. I smirked and said game on. Henny mixed with the bull, so I stay charged. I'ma divide her by 5, turn 40 to 8 bars. Cops will never find the gun, or no, I'm not forgetting with an AR. They wait off, bug life bitches I sprayed off. My aim's on, a shouting ass tied, I should gang soft. 40 by 40 something, but swift in the ring like Ali Promels. When she choked, I said, shit, that's the early stages of Alzheimer's. The object of the topic is using optics from 1 to 3. 20/20 vision, so it ain't hard to see 40 ain't fucking with me. Body for body, 40 makes Lauren and pasta. Full team, she got a 40-man roster. Bob and Weave is crazy, new Dodgers. Thought I was through with the 40s, huh? I gotcha. Bad news, they ain't say what I could do to you. Now I'ma take niggas back to Roman numerals. Ema X gave her an L. Smash from the X, passing her an L. She'll never make the cover of XL, living in a world with sex sells. But before I cash you this L, I'ma steam a little. Feel like Boston being left out, I'ma bring him attention. Short on the family tree, hemlock, clean cut, hit it one time with a dead shot. Boston got another red sock. Spill her brains over the harbor. Problem, hardly. Turn queen of the ring to the Boston Tea Party. I shall capitalize Boston. Y'all fuck with her move a bit. Within the circumference or mass I choose to hit. I said I shall capitalize Boston. Y'all fuck with her move a bit. Within the circumference or mass I choose to hit. Ground up some niggas that's true to me and have a mix up 30 ways. Sam Adams Brewery. Damn.
Hey yo! Fresh. Fresh out, nigga, ain't nothing to go back!
But Surfing was looking rocky.
Trump must have tweeted for that nigga.
Yeah, cause he got out ASAP.
Nigga, say that! We couldn't make this shit up to stay alive, nigga.
What's that?
Last year, the nigga get shot up on 725, right?
Wow, cause this year the nigga get locked up on 725.
But what he go in for?
Like, 6 Glocks and 725s.
And he always go in like 6 o'clock and get out about 7:25. But didn't he name his album?
What?
7?
Wow, that's crazy, because
Wow.
I heard he sold that album to his fans.
You lying.
For 725.
But we can't make this shit up to stay alive. Rock, what's up?
What's up, Rock?
I know you niggas get points for going to jail, but sir, you about a misdemeanor away from just looking like a fuck up, man. You niggas out here cutting up.
Look, the problem is Rocky sell fights. We make movies. That's true greatness.
Harvey Dent with the promotion.
Y'all don't know who y'all two-faced with.
Shit, jokes is what you making?
Let's get loopy. Let's get loopy.
Nigga.
See, Rocky sell fights. We make movies. That's true greatness.
Harvey Dent with the promotion?
Y'all don't know who y'all two-faced
See,
with.
jokes is what you making?
Then you take
You
it.
took a reel?
From the reel?
And then bootlegged it?
Nigga, Rock switch clicks every week. Ain't no telling who Tay with.
Facts.
But since he poked his chest out, I'ma let you cave in.
Like Indiana Jones had a talk with Lara.
Let's bring that back. I want to add something. Let's bring that back.
Yeah, add that.
Look, I said, Rock, you sell fights, we make movies. That's true greatness.
Harvey Dent with the promotion.
Y'all don't know who y'all two-faced with.
Jokes is what you making?
Then you take it.
You took a reel.
From the reel.
And then bootlegged it?
Nigga, we don't do volumes, only huge stages.
Huh?
The view's crazy.
Go 30. Keep going. Nigga, what is you saying, bruh?
We evolved the game. That's a mutation.
What the
I just threw that in there.
What? What? The fuck out of
I
here.
just threw that in there.
That was crazy. That was crazy off the...
Should I throw something else?
That was crazy.
All right, look.
These crackheads say.
Look. Every week, take out a different member.
Hi guys, this is Yakira Gorgeous.
I'm just Jen.
Yeah, I got bombshell.
And we have our special guest here that we want him to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his story and what he's been through and his life. You can start by telling your name and everything because I'll talk forever. So
All right, my name is Sundhe Moses.
Tell us what you're about, Sundhe.
Sundhe. So in case you look it up,
Can they follow you on Instagram
yeah,
or
they
like
can.
YouTube or anything?
Yeah, you can follow me at Sundhe Moses and Instagram at Zulu_243.
Okay. Follow him.
Yeah, so my story goes back over 2 decades. When I was 19 years old, I was arrested for a homicide, a murder that took place in Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn.
What part of Brooklyn?
I'm from downtown, from Fort Greene.
Oh, okay.
And there was a big incident that happened. In 1995, I was accused of shooting a 4-year-old girl and actually 5 people. I was accused of shooting 5 people, which included a 4-year-old girl, which was killed in like a crossfire. She was on roller skates. May she rest in peace. She was a 4-year-old girl. Her name was Shimon Johnson. She was adopted by her family. So it was a very tragic time. I kind of like, I've done several, a lot of different interviews, and I like kind of doing platforms like this because it's, a lot of the story originated from the 1995 Source Awards. And a lot of things took place there, and a lot of people, it's memorable because that's when the East Coast, West Coast kind of beef was sparked.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And there's a lot of things that took place like behind the scenes, and then which sparked a war. And so that was like part of that. And then,
When was Central Park?
Wasn't that a little bit
Was
later?
that 2000?
Yeah, that's probably after.
Or is that in the? I thought that was the 90s. That was before.
Central
right?
Park, no. Central Park was before.
Before
Central
you?
Park was before me. Central Park was several years before me.
So that's
Central
still
Park
like
was
there
89.
too.
89.
89, yeah, because he went
89
to.
because I think this was
I
like,
didn't even
this
know
would
it
be
was
like their
89.
30 years. 30 years? 30 years since it happened? Yeah.
So it's still like that. That was still hanging over your head with that whole
It was,
situation, right? Because it never.
well, the time as it pertains to juveniles.
Yeah.
Because at that time, you know, they kind of was like, you know, the 90s. You know, they was
Yeah.
looking at, you know, juveniles as young, wild black
Like
kids
they're
that
willing to
just
still
Yeah.
throw
right.
it,
Well,
yeah, as
well,
adults.
the justice system became very punitive, right? Versus, you know, pumping education and so on and so forth. They became, you know, let's lock these animals
Right.
up,
Yeah.
right?
So it was like during like the whole like stop and frisk thing.
Well, it was before that, but it was still a time of Rodney Kingish kind of
okay.
times.
Okay.
So, hey, not to cut you off real quick. You skipped around so much right there. So can you like explain to the audience like what actually happened like with that? Like you just said a little girl got shot, and then you said Source Awards. Like, how does that all tie in?
Okay.
Also, how did this? I mean, not that you would know, or you know, if you're innocent, but I'm saying like, how did the situation happen? You know, can we get into that?
Well, there was an individual from our projects, which is Fort Greene, that his name was Benjamin O'Gara. A lot of people know him in the street as Killer Ben. He was closely associated with Rakim, the rapper, and he had just came home from prison in 1995, and I was 18, going on 19 around that time.
Crazy.
And he's older. So he came home, and of course, because he is the friend of a rapper, right? This is how he would be in a place like the Source Awards. And he's there. He was home from doing, I think, about 6 years for attempt murder on police officers. But he's notorious. He's well known in Brooklyn. And he came home, and allegedly at this award show, we know that Bad Boy were there, and Death Row was there, and Suge Knight, and you know, there was an individual who was allegedly in the notorious B.I.G.'s camp, who was there at the award show, and at that award show, Killer Ben, right? This is how the story goes. Killer Ben robbed this individual in his camp for a Rolex watch and some jewelry. Maybe 2 days later, Killer Ben was killed at a payphone on Myrtle Avenue in Brooklyn. Killer Ben is well known. So is the kid who was robbed. And so that kind of which sparked the shooting.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? That's what sparked the shootings. And it went on for probably about, Killer Ben was killed in August. I was locked up September 1st, so it went on for
A month.
about, maybe about 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that, right? Because he got killed maybe somewhere in the end of August of 1995, and I got locked up in September. And then it wasn't just me. I got locked up along with two other individuals who they said I was doing the shooting with. They said it was 3 of us. They said 2 of us were shooting and 1 person was driving. We got locked up at different times. 1 person got locked up that day. I got locked up a week later. The other person who was allegedly part of the crime was already wanted for another murder.
Oh my gosh.
And was already on like America's Most Wanted. They was like looking for him for a while. He's already was looking for him for like a long time. And so it became a really big case in 1995. Now, that's a tragic story in and of itself. Now, what made the story sort of explode was the fact that also involved in that whole incident was a crooked cop. And that's where I kind of come into play, because the crooked cop locked me up for that murder. For everything I just explained to you, they pinned it on me, right? So, like somebody told them because. Well, let me paint the atmosphere a little bit for you. It's election year. The crimes are already
going up.
Well, the murder of Killer Ben was already publicized. So even before the little girl was killed, the crimes were already in the media. Mm-hmm. So it was like when the little girl got killed, it was the height of everything. Now the neighborhoods and the people are coming out saying, listen, this is crazy because, we can't even go outside and play. Our kids can't come outside. Like, this is actually in the paper, in the news as it's going on. So now when the little girl got killed, it was like, nah, we can't take this no more. And then it's an election year. So the amount of pressure that the police had to capture the people who was responsible for this innocent girl being killed, they wanted somebody. Mm-hmm. They was not, they was not playing, right? So the person who they said I did it with, he got locked up the same day because one of the shooters allegedly shot themselves during the shooting. So they locked him up. He was in the hospital, right, with a gunshot wound to the leg, and they said he was part of it.
What?
Right.
They didn't even do any investigation. Like, all right, you have a shot. All right.
Well, no, they looked at what they call is a 911 report. Mm-hmm. When someone is injured by a gunshot wound, when you go to the hospital is obligated to then notify the police. So when they're doing their investigation, of course, it would come in over there Broadway that there was a shooting at X place or somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Then their part of their investigation is to check all the hospitals in the local area to see who may have checked in for gunshot wounds. Mm-hmm. And then the police will then go to that person and investigate. Mm-hmm. So that's what happened, right? Even though the crime happened in Brooklyn, he managed to drive to Manhattan, shot, and checked into the hospital. The homicide detectives came there. They determined that he was part of the crime based on their interview of him.
But he wasn't a part of it,
He was a part of it.
Oh, he was so he drove all the way to Manhattan with a gunshot wound. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And checked himself into the hospital. But they'll go to any all 5 boroughs, it doesn't matter where you. So they went to that hospital and they locked him up that day. Mm-hmm. Now they're looking for the other shooter, right? And the description and thing is, my co-defendant, the person who I said that they did it with, he's very fair skinned, and of course I'm dark skinned, right? So that was a big issue at my trial because they want to describe who did it, and none of the people who got shot, the little girl was killed. The other 4 people who were shot, none of them described me. Right. None of them even identified me. They didn't pick me out of the lineup, nothing.
Wow.
It was 2 people who was there at the shooting. They didn't get shot. It was a girl and a guy who was there who said we witnessed this shooting. And they were teens. They were like a little girl, a guy and a girl. Mm-hmm. They were like 17 and stuff like that. And they testified against me. And the detective kind of like forced them to like pick me out of a lineup. Wow. And all of that. It came out years later. It came out a lot of years later that they lied and picked me out in the lineup because the guy, the little girl, was his cousin. Mm-hmm. So, and he was there when the shooting happened. Oh my God. But he didn't see who shot his cousin, but the police, and like I told you, with the pressure mounting to get an arrest, they're telling him to pick me.
That, yeah.
Right, they're telling him to pick me. And he did it. Not that he's seen anything, he just trusts the cops. Like the cops are saying, listen, we got the guy who did the shooting, but we need you to identify him.
Right.
Not only are they saying that to him, but his own family is telling him, you have to identify somebody. So he got a lot of pressure. Keep in mind, this kid is like only 17 years old. So he he admitted later that he felt a lot of pressure and he just picked me. So, you know, I ended up getting locked up. Homicides came to my house.
And you said you were like, what, 18, 19?
Mm-hmm.
So were you like? So where were you when they picked you up?
I was at my house, in my apartment.
And you weren't even on the scene.
And you
when
wasn't
it
even
happened.
on the scene.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Like, I don't know the people, wasn't there, nothing. Like,
Nothing.
strangers, total. That's like right now how we here having an interview and
Right.
and then you leave here and the next morning homicide come to your house and say you killed somebody in Brooklyn at this very moment that you're having this interview.
Like, your mind would be like, yo, what the fuck?
If you don't mind me asking though, like, was you involved in street shit
I
at
was.
this time, or like was you just?
No, I was.
Okay.
I was.
So it wasn't just. Like,
No. I was, but I was totally removed from what had took place. Like, I don't know them, the strangers, like, you know, regular street, you know, because Fort Greene is like notorious in Brooklyn. So especially at this time. So it's not like, you know, I'm the average black kid growing up in the hood, right? So not painting myself as an angel, but not painting myself. I'm certainly not a murderer, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you know, you see a black kid from any neighborhood across the tri-state borough. You know, what are they doing? They playing basketball games. You know, some of them might be hustling, smoking weed, regular stuff, right? So that was me at that age, right? But then that happened, and getting caught up in it is just that, you know, the stars aligned that I would come across this detective who's now, you know, very notorious for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did they find out about him later? That he was like a crooked cop?
Well, it took a long time. You know, like I said, I end up doing 18 and a half years, you know, before anybody found out the truth. So it took a long time. By that time, the cop had retired, and before they found out anything, I was like one of his last arrests before he retired. So he became a detective like in mid 70s, and he retired in 1999. So he locked me up in 1995. 4 years later, he retired.
Wow.
So he had done his dirt. He done his damage
like, all right, I'm
throughout
done with
the
this
80s.
shit.
Right.
Done with
And
these
he had
animals.
retired. And they didn't find anything out. They didn't find like an inkling of any corrupt behavior until 13 years after he retired.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
So meanwhile, 1995, they didn't start looking at my case like, oh, you didn't do this until 2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did they find out, if you don't mind? Like, was it another case, or
No.
did you get lawyers?
Well, by this time I had lawyers. I had exhausted all my appeals. So I ended up going to trial. I ended up losing. I ended up getting sentenced to 15 to life. And then through the course of my time, I ended up getting more time in jail, and got another 1.5 to 3. Cause I was like, you know, cause I'm young, so I'm adjusting. You know, like I'm fighting, I'm hustling, I'm doing things, I'm trying to get low. Like it's just crazy. Cause keep in mind, I'm trying to get out, and I'm in a maximum security jail. So
Was it Rikers?
and I have life. Yeah, no. Well, Rikers, is the holding facility on. Yeah, I went through. I was on Rikers for like 2 years while going back and forth to court fighting my case. Then I lost and then went upstairs.
Because you were young.
Because we heard coming from Jersey that Rikers is like one of the worst.
The
They're
worst.
still
No, it
the
is.
worst.
It
It
is.
is, right?
They're trying to
It
shut
is.
it down.
It is.
Yeah, because
It's
I
bad.
hear it's filthy.
It is filthy.
But
I mean, it's disgusting. It's just like,
Everything you heard about it.
It's as bad as
true.
it is. Yeah.
wow.
So how long did you do?
Well, I did 2 years on Rikers Island, and then, well, a little under 2 years, and then from 1995, I went to trial and lost in 1997, and then I went upstate, and
What jail upstate? What prison?
Almost all of them.
Oh, you moved
Wow.
around.
So they had you moving around like that?
Because when they like, I guess they have like a certain amount of people, and they kind of
Yeah, you
because you have so
don't
much.
really. And then like if you get in trouble, you go to the box, then you get out, go to another jail, or if a riot happens in one jail, because it's gang stuff going on. It's the stuff going on.
You find your way in that shit no matter what.
Right. You
That's
stuff
crazy.
going on. So it's like almost the comparison I make is, if you put on a white suit and then you jump in a ditch, how do you not get dirt on it?
Right. Right.
Right. So I'm innocent, but look where I'm at. Look at the environment I'm
And
at.
there's probably so many other people too that have the same story as you. It's just like,
It kind of forces you to be something that you're not. Right? Because if you're a nice person, you can't be nice in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
fuck,
Because
now I
you're
gotta
nice.
fight.
Right? Because if you're nice, people
Right.
take advantage of that because you're not in church. Right? You're in a maximum security prison where people
Are
is
trying to
locked
test
up
you.
for every single crime imaginable. Right? And I'm talking about not just that, but like I was around like famous killers, like people they made movies about. Like
Oh my God.
guy that killed John Lennon, I was in prison with him.
God.
The Amityville Horror guy who killed his whole family. Like this hard the people.
like you saw them or you just
No,
knew?
I seen
like,
them.
Oh my
Like
God.
how I'm sitting there with
Yeah.
you and everything.
Wow.
So
Scary.
how did other prisoners react to you being accused of killing a 4-year-old girl?
Right.
I mean,
that's a good
that's-
question.
That is a
It's
good
got to
question.
be a hard thing to deal with being 19.
It is. Me personally, I didn't deal with that a lot. One, because the people that were involved in this case were very big people, had very big names. Fortunately, I knew the people that I knew, and I was connected to the people I was connected. Like I said, I was in the street, so. And then not just that, but with the telling of the crime also came the fact that a kid was locked up for not doing it. That rumor was going around.
Oh, okay.
The rumor was actually going around. It's just the
streets,
police.
though.
Yeah, the streets.
Okay.
Particularly my neighborhood. Right? So my personal friends knew that I had nothing to do with it. And anybody that they came into contact with, they would say that. Like, he didn't do that. Right? And no one really knew. Like, you're not there. No one knew. It's just what they reading in the papers. And you know how you can make things look in the paper, especially with a crime like that, because everyone, including me, would feel sorry for a 4-year-old girl that was killed innocently in the street. Right? And then anyone that's watching that in the news, their almost natural reaction was like, oh, that guy needs to rot in jail. Without even knowing the facts.
But did anybody like try and test you? Like, yo, you did it, and then
No, I never bumped into anybody like from the other side, because like I said, it was, and then again, that's like, the pot calling the kettle black.
I was about to say because
Right.
they all done murders.
Right.
They're in there for that.
So like, who's
So you
who's
can't judge
like-
me if you done murdered all these people.
Right.
I get it.
That in prison, those type of crimes sometimes stick out, depending on who was the victim.
True.
But the crimes that really stick out in the way that you're asking are sexual crimes.
Yeah, rape. That's why.
Yeah, those are the guys who really have a hard time in prison.
As they should.
And kid and like.
Well, not if they don't do it.
With
Not
kids,
if they're
right? Which
Like
is
with Corey.
which
True.
is a big issue, right? Which is
Right.
a big issue. And that's like one of the things that I like to have an interview about, because there's still a lot of people that are left that's locked up for stuff they didn't do. And I was fortunate because I come from a good family who emphasized education. Our family was originally from West Africa, from Liberia, so they're very, cultured people, and they believe in education. I'm the youngest of 8 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm like the baby. So I come.
They wasn't playing with you.
Yeah, so I come from. Yeah, I went to Catholic school, so I had a good education, right? That my point is when this happened to me, even though it happened to me at that age, fortunately, right? Even at that age, I was able to read, write, and articulate myself. Now that's very important, right?
Very.
Because when you take a person my age that can't read and write, how do you fight to get out of prison, right? And I never really met somebody who couldn't read and write before then until I got to prison.
Wow.
Like your day to day, you go to work, come home, you're not focused on who can't read and write, right? You're not focused on a lot of things. But in prison, in a closed environment, you actually see, and then you learn a lot because there's people who very clean cut, talk very well, and they can't read, right? It's not the picture that you paint in your mind of a person that's illiterate. And so I learned that, and I thought, like, you know, those people need help. So doing interviews like this, making it more aware, my experiences and stuff like that through what happened, how it happened. A lot of people don't know how wrongful convictions even happen. I mean, it's easy to look in hindsight and say, well, that shouldn't happen, right? But you wonder when you see this, like, how did it happen, right? These are the
nobody
people,
wants to believe,
right?
like, like that it, you know, there's a corrupt government, there's like corrupt police. Like, no, like they must have had a lot of proof to put you there.
No, it's like,
but it's not even
well,
that. Because if they mess with the evidence or like they tell the newspapers like, oh, look at all this, we know we found him right here. It's like, no, it's not. That would be so frustrating.
Well, you like to believe the good in people, and I think that's innate in all of us that we like to see the good in people, and then when something bad happens, we don't like to believe, especially when it comes from an official authority, right? When it comes from a priest, when it comes from a cop, when it comes from a doctor. When it comes from anybody that has some official capacity, sometimes it's hard for the general public to believe that they might have went against their own morals and principles and did this. Right? Because if I knock on your door as a civilian and say, open the door, you won't open it because you're going to say I'm a stranger. But if a cop does, you may open it because, not because you know him personally, but because you respect the badge. And you feel safe because of the badge. Right? But the reality is that, and they got a lot of studies on it, the reality is that that's not true. Right? You have cops that, for example, and Johnny Cochran wrote a book, and it was really good. And there was a case where a cop responded to the wrong apartment on a call. When he got there, like a 16 or 17-year-old girl answered the door. And he went in and he raped her, a cop.
Oh my God.
Right? And then tried to return back to the address to do it again on a later day, and that's when he got busted.
Oh my God.
This is a cop, right?
That's crazy.
My point is the little girl trusted a stranger because of the badge, not because she knew him. So when we talk about official capacity and the power that it holds and how people think, how a jury may think when a cop come and testify and says that something happened, right? That they may take it for face value.
Yeah.
To the point where my lawyer had to make that point at my trial. He said, listen, if a cop comes in here and tell you that he can walk up the side of the wall, would you believe him? They said no. They said okay. He said okay, well then please listen to the evidence, right? Don't just go by what he says, right? And he tried to make these points to people. Now, it sounds like common sense. These are grown people we're talking to. It sounds like they should know this. But believe me, you really have to explain that. And so that's why I said, you know, some people don't even know how wrongful convictions happen. Because some people just feel that, it wouldn't get to that point, right? The guy who picked me out in the lineup later on ended up admitting and saying that he kind of knew that I had nothing to do with it, but he felt like they'll figure it out.
So what other evidence did they have?
They had those 2 witnesses.
Okay.
The cop also said that I confessed to the crime.
And you never did.
No. And then And that was it. It wasn't no physical evidence. I mean, they had the car, but it was no physical evidence, period.
Well, I feel like back in the day it was worse anyways.
Yeah, because no cameras is different from how, I mean, that case couldn't have survived today.
100% no. Of
course not.
Right? But this is in 1995, and like you said, there's no cameras and technology is a little bit different. No, Facebook.
Actually, I can't even say 100% no because there's so much shit happening in today's world. Like, I feel like there's so many crooked cops that are erasing stuff. Like, even if they had camera footage, they're erasing it and they're getting away with this stuff. So I do feel like it's still a lot of like wrongfully convicted people out there.
Well, they ended up opening up his whole caseload. What happened was, I had about maybe, at this time I've been locked up about 16 years, maybe 16 and a half years. God. And I used to call my mom every day. I used to call my mom every day, sometime during the day. And this particular day I called home and she said, I was reading the paper, and keep in mind this is a long time from the time the crime happened, right? So my mother's an elder lady, so for her to even remember 16 years prior the face of the cop, right? Whom she only seen maybe once or twice. So she said, I think the cop who locked you up is in the paper for something else, though. For something else. So I said, really? I said, what's his name?
Like something illegal?
Something illegal. Something illegal, right? She said, I think he's in trouble for something else, right? So I said, this is 16. Out of the blue. Appeals exhausted. I have no way. My mind is like, I'm going to have to go to the parole board and I'm going to have to, go through this whole process. So I said, what's his name? She said, Louis Scarcella. That's his name. And I said, that is him. I said, that's him. Wow. I said, what is he locked up? I said, what is he in the paper for? She said, he did something. I said, okay, well, send me the paper. She sent me the paper. 3 days later, I get the paper. And apparently he had locked somebody else up. See, he was doing it. See, it snowboard, it got crazy. Way back further. It was a trickle effect, and it was a white guy who was accused of killing a Hasidic Jew, a rabbi. And this guy was locked up. His name was David Ranter. They end up start investigating his case and found out that the cop, they was the witnesses, it just fell apart in that case. And when they started putting pieces together, they was like, wait, hold up. Let's look at this case. Let's look at that case. And then they was like, hold up. We're going to have to open up his whole caseload. Like you seen Training Day, he was one of those type of cops. Oh, yeah, he was for real. If you can make a real life person, train it. If you can make that a real life person, he would be that person.
That's crazy.
It's mind blowing to me that he ends up locking up a white guy, right? It takes for him to lock up the white guy to be like, this doesn't make sense. This isn't right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that just blows my mind. Y'all couldn't do that for the rest of the cases, or do the job for the rest of the cases?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, well, thank God, that did happen.
No, that's true.
It worked out in
You're
your
not the
case.
only person that ever pointed that out, neither.
But that's just mind blowing. Really, guys, it takes for this white person to be like, this is not sitting right.
Yeah, and once they did that and they started digging into the cases, then they started finding a lot of stuff, and then they started.
So this kind of gave you hope after seeing that, but were you out of hope before this? Did you just accept your fate in jail? Yeah, there's no way I'm getting out of here.
Yeah,
but
I did. I had hope because I never stopped fighting, but I kind of felt like that.
And then your mom called. It's almost like a sign.
That's crazy. That was God.
Yeah, and I wrote when she sent me the paper, I immediately wrote. I wrote the district attorney's office. I wrote a lawyer. That another older guy was like, you should write this lawyer. He's good. I'm telling you. But I wrote this lawyer. His name is Ronald Kuby. Really good lawyer. He has a show on TV now and high-profile cases. It's really good. And I wrote the New York Post, and all of them responded.
Wow.
All of them responded, and then they did an article, and then it's like they started saying, I think it's this other kid that he locked up too. And then when I went to the parole board, the parole board was aware of it, like they seen it, and then my lawyers accepted the case pro bono, so I didn't have to pay for lawyers.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they put it together like a parole file for me and gave it to the parole board. Keep in mind that this is my second parole board. When I went to my first parole board, they denied me parole. It gave me 2 more years. Which that's why I ended up serving 18 and a half years. And then I went back. My first parole board was in 2011. And then I went back in 2013, and then that's when everything broke and blah, 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 and they released me. And then but I was still on parole. This is not the court, this is parole, right? So when I got out, I was still on parole. So I still had parole restrictions, like, curfew and all this other stuff.
How was that?
Yeah.
Still? But let's take it back to, like, when you were 19 years old. Like, what was your mind when you were like, yo, like, I really didn't do this. Like, that would drive me crazy.
No, it did.
Like, I wouldn't even know. I'd be like, yo, this is crazy. Because I get like that when nobody believes me anyways.
It was great, Mom, if I could go back.
No, go ahead.
You got to use the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, of course. All right, guys, we're about to take a break right now.
And
we'll be right back.
When we come back, I would like to know what's going on with you now.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
All right, for sure.
Film, we have a book.
It's on you. Back to
What in the fuck happened? Never mind. I don't want to talk about this shit. I hate that. Y'all motherfuckers ODing on rum. Because y'all ain't had no straight yak. My nigga Zay had a Nino on the roof line against you. You tweaked it and said at the ab to take my nigga spot. It's like my man's on a car dealer shit. And you the thief. Seeing as how you stole from my nigga lot, you good in a small room. You good in a small room. Get on the big stage, did a nigga like Rex kill you? How y'all gonna put dude on now? Another Crip nigga scared to catch a body. That's Snoop on trial. Oh, you tough nitty? Another Crip nigga scared to catch a body. That's Snoop on trial. Oh, you tough nitty? I can't tell, fam. Strap around his head, pointed down at him like Quail Man. You ain't tough nitty. Let me do me. I ain't say shit while you was rapping, my nigga. Let me do me, bro. Strap around his head, pointed down at him like Quail Man. Oh, you tough, nitty? I bet you hardly fight. I'm in Phoenix with a 9 shooting. I'm Dan Marley nice. Oh, you ain't... Shit, let me finish. You ain't tough, nitty. I think you acting out. I was 15 when my mama was finding them same type burners you rapping about. Between Pontiac and New Orleans, crazy. Little shit talker. Selling weed on Bourbon Street. That's a French Quarter. I don't like none of you niggas. I don't like none of you niggas. That nigga Mac my homie. Shut the fuck up while I'm rapping. I don't like none of you niggas. That nigga Mac my homie. I ain't acting funny. As far as the East Coast, if you ain't Team Homie or Wolf, then nigga back up from me. I let 2 balls bang. New York slang. You gonna be a dead ass if you act a donkey. Gritty tight. I'm trying to fuck Nitty White. He mad, the pizza get him high. He'll live a hippie life, hit him twice. Bullets rip through tissue, leave his kidney sliced. I made a fortune telling these hoes to keep the strap on them. That's a gypsy dyke. Pussy, fuck is you talking about? We're KG. Hey, yo, Kevin, will this power forward show you I'm the OG that'll hawk him out? Hey, Atlanta Hawk, you know Kevin Willis, power forward, OG, Atlanta Hawk. It's crazy because I could pull a 42 Atlanta Hawk. That's how you drop a name, nigga. That's how you drop a name. Shout out ATL, Mark. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Hey, check. I put... Hey, yo! Hey, Will, check. I put something in his head. It's not a tumor. If I hit him, Doc's gonna need rum and OR. It's not a rumor. You see? I'm back, nigga! I'm back, nigga! Back in this bitch! I'm back in this bitch! No ring, no box, straight yet! Fuck that! Go! If I hit him, Doc's gonna need rum and OR. If I hit him, Doc's gonna need rum and OR. It's not a rumor. If you see choppers, you gonna need doctors. I'm fixing to put my shoe in this pussy. That's a peach cobbler. My nigga Ray from Finkel. Yeah. My nigga Ray from Finkel, Dan Marino bullets. Accuracy, no leeway. Shit got his head hanging out the window while he driving. Ace Ventura on the freeway. You see this? Hold up! Hold up! You see this? Hey, Smash. You see this? See what's happening? After this, bitch? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. You see this, though? How they going crazy? After this shit, y'all gonna have to heighten the fee. Redhead chicken sister rat, cause none nicer than me. How you gonna fuck with me? You can't get with him. I was his gunner cause he knew I'd kill whether I was on stage or in the whip with him. You can't step to me. Nice weaponry. Words heavenly. I told my niggas what I be doing when I got here. What's that? Body in this bitch like a pregnancy. I come to go. I come to your house. I come to your house. Come on. I come to your house, me, myself, and my bean, dropping shit in your yard, me, myself, and Irene. Yeah! Motherfucker, we're in it, and we gonna run it, nigga. We run it.
Yo, y'all ready? Hold on. Chill. Hey, yo, first of all, who the fuck you think you scaring with all these horrible flick bars you spit? Yo, quit trying to convince them you some type of killer, nigga. I'll punk your shit. Classification, arsenic / arsonist. I get it shaking like a nigga with epilepsy and Parkinson. Hold on. Chill. Let me back. I don't need that. Hey, yo, chill. Hey, yo, chill. Said before, so what? Mine's I went to the extreme with. See, they say it to say some mean shit. I say it because I mean it. It's a difference. Word to mother. I bet my rent money. I dropped this big, fat, greasy, black, behemoth, crusty nigga with one head from me. You believe me? Dig this. This fight went last 2 minutes. Dude tripping, hit a bunk. Dude stiffing, falling back, room spinning, all the air in the room thinning. Then he black out. And he wake up with tubes in him. Uncomfortable, tight space. He can hardly move in it. And he pop. Chill, let me rap. Hey yo, chill, let me rap. Hey yo, chill. Hey yo. And he wake up with tubes in him. Uncomfortable, tight space. He can hardly move in it. And he propped up at an angle, surrounded by people dressed in all white. He can't tell whether they doctors or angels. Pick one. Nigga, choose wisely. Let dude try me. Trust me, this kid ain't got to worry about nothing. Blue Ivy. They pick me. Chill. They pick me. Chill, B. Chill. They pick me. I'm a short shot to get you homie. Boom, shotty, boom. The killer wheeling down the block on a Ducati. No pit stops. You want to play tough? I clap forward this fat Joe. I'm sending your soul all the way up. Chill, don't get it fucked up. It's Team Homie. My set different. URL told me Tink was my next victim, so no room forever. I'm tech gripping. I came with blue steel, but I'm here to draw red. I'm set tripping. Yo, they told me to do battles with demons. You need Jesus. I said, why you think I'm here with my hitters, nigga? Them Jesus. You know we steaming. You know we scheming. 40 steaming. I riddle them and hold them up for the world to bear witness a holy demon. Huh. Blasphemy. I can't. His level of evil ain't nearly equal. It's not even a thought. I mean, he calls himself a demon, and a demon is just a minion to the devil. So, nigga, I'm gonna need to speak with your boss. Fuck you. Fuck you. Hey, yo, let's go. Hold on. Fuck you. Fuck you. Let's go. Hold on. Let me rap, please. Just let me rap. Fuck you. I'm about that. 7 here with the mag tuck. They told me this shit was a mirror match. Well, I'm about to get 7 years of bad luck. Smash it. Fuck that. Smash him. Hold on. Smash him. Yo, let me rap, B. Yo, smash him. I let it flare if he act up. Send him back to Delaware, smeared on the grill of a Mack truck. You fat fuck. How he be like? I would traumatize your realm of reality and haunt your dreams. Man, I'm here screaming you whack to your face. I came to put a demon back in his place like I'm Constantine. Hey, yo, so what's it gonna be, homie? You bout it? Well, we gon' see. There's 6 million ways to die. Nigga, you chose me. Fuck yeah, man.
Hi guys, welcome back to Her Point of View. We have our special guest. I cannot pronounce your name for the life of me. Sundhe. I just made your name Indian.
Yeah, I can't.
Sundhe. I'm so sorry. That was a little giggle moment. My bad, y'all. Yes, so we have Sundhe here, and he's telling his story. If you guys are just tuning in right now, basically this young man was wrongfully convicted of a murder back in Brooklyn in 1995. That's 2 years after I was born, y'all. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. But yeah, so we're just finishing up on that. You said you had extra questions for him. You guys all and we also want to get some questions from the chat too, because I see there's a lot of
people are
talking going on up in there.
So like where we left off, you told the story, and you were getting into the police about how he got caught, and we kind of stopped there. How did you actually? You said your mother seen in the newspaper, and then you kind of stopped there. Can we get into how you got out? And how, did the charges get dropped, or did you just get paroled out?
So what happened was when I seen the paper and I wrote the lawyer, I wrote the New York Post, I wrote the district attorney's office. They responded and said that they are aware that this detective was involved in my case, and that they, to that end, that they gathered all, DD5s and police reports and transcripts, and they're looking into it. So they said if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to, and they gave me a name and a number to reach out to. So of course, when I got that letter, I was excited, but I also was confused, like, wow, so hold up. when were y'all gonna let me know that y'all was looking into the case?
Right.
Right? Like, I had to write y'all to find this out. So, but that was, I was too aesthetic to even concentrate and focus on that little thing. So, just the fact that they was looking at it. Because I knew that if anybody spent a little bit of time on my case, that I was getting out. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I knew I didn't do it. So, I'm like, I got the lawyer. Again, like I said, this is now, let me take you back a little bit. 2011 is my first parole board. The parole board is very, 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 very strict, right? And I need to emphasize that, very strict. They think about it.
Especially at a time where they're making money off you, because now it's a little different.
They've been making money. They have been making money. They have industries in prison, right? That make all type of stuff.
When you say strict, what do you mean? Like,
well, on who they let out of prison.
Oh. So, like, when reviewing, like, do you have to not have anything on your record, like, while you're in jail, like, that type of stuff? Or you have to come in, like, no scratch on your face? Like, that's what I was thinking when he said, like, they're very strict. Like, you have to come in like, a tuxedo. Or it's like, I was just like, what do you mean they're strict?
No, they strict. They strict in
letting
who they let out of prison.
Ooh.
Particularly violent crimes.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have, think about the range of crimes that they come before them, right? And, it's not like I have innocence written on my forehead, right? So I'm going in there and they're looking at me just like the next guilty person.
Like they're already saying no to you before.
For a heinous crime, right?
Yeah.
So this is my first parole board. So now their requirement, their unwritten requirement is that you admit to the crime. Right? In order for them to even take you serious.
Wow.
Right? Everybody knows that. So what happens, and there's a lot of stuff written on that, but what happens when an innocent person go before the parole board, right? You ask yourself. So I had to make a decision. That was something that I was wrestling with for a lot of years. Like, damn, when I go before the parole board, should I admit to the crime or not, even though I didn't do it, right? One part of me is saying, no, you didn't do it. Like, keep saying you didn't do it. You said you didn't do it. You went to trial. Keep claiming your innocence, and have faith. But the other end is also, I have a mother and a father who's getting old. Before I was locked up, I had a son that was only like 7 months old when I got locked up. So he's still a baby. And I'm like, I gotta get to him. So like a lot of stuff is weighing. Like, it's not just me. It's not just like me I have to think about. And I seen people whose parents passed away while they was doing time, and I just didn't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm the youngest of 8, so my parents are up there, and so I had decided. I said, you know what? It's funny because I used to go to like a meeting. They used to have like these people that used to come into the prison and talk to us, and like me and a couple of other prisoners, we used to sign up. There used to be like 4 people, like three ladies and a guy. They would come in and we would talk. Like, it was nice. I liked it. It was like therapy for me. And it was called Cephas. And we would go there, and it would be a group of inmates, and it would be them, and we would talk about different issues. I remember at one of those meetings that I kind of like laid out that dilemma, like, what should I do? Like, and it was like everybody was confused, right? Because it was like some people were saying like it was split. I left there confused because some people were saying like, no, you don't admit to the crime. You didn't do it. Don't ever admit. Like they was strong on that. And then some people were saying like, hold up, but you got to think about your freedom and your family, like. And then, like, you already did the time. You already did the time. Like, so it doesn't matter whether you, like, and both sides have good points, though. That was made it so more confusing, right? Because like, yeah, this one, you write on that, and then you write on that. So I was like, at the end of the day, I decided to. This is why in those situations, because those situations happen a lot, especially with innocent people, of course, right? So in those situations, I never blame or I never judge what decision a person would make. It's just one of those situations. Me, I decided to admit to the crime. But I have a friend who was also wrongfully convicted for murder who didn't admit to the crime.
He didn't get out.
Right? He's out, but he did 27 years.
Jeez.
Right? I did 18 and a half. He did 27 years.
Oh my God.
Right? So this is the difference. And some people never get out. And then you intensify that when you talk about death row. Right? Innocent people on death row. Like, what do they do? So that dilemma is a dilemma that, is tough. And so, I decided, I said, listen, I have a family, I'm thinking about my freedom, but here's the thing. There's no guarantee even when you admit. So when I admit, they still denied me parole. It's not like that was like gonna get me out, right? You gotta hope. You hoping that that admittance to them, because they feel like if you're not admitting to it and you're not taking responsibility for the crime, that you will repeat that crime. Right? It makes sense. The logic makes sense. It's just a difficult situation because they don't know you.
Right.
Right? We're sitting here today because in hindsight you can say, okay, I can read the paper and I can see a bunch of stuff that says that you're innocent.
Yeah.
They don't have any of this stuff now, right? So they're just looking at a guy who, in their head, shot a 4-year-old girl, killed a 4-year-old girl, and shot 4 other people.
Yeah, they're not.
That's it.
Yeah.
And even more so, this is the parole board. This is after I got found guilty at a trial. So to them, I did it.
Yeah.
Right? This is not a jury where they're like,
No.
This to them, this is after the fact. They say, listen, 12 members of a jury found you guilty. This is not a trial. We're not here to adjudicate your guilt or innocence. That's how you talk. To us, you're guilty. And you need to deal with that, right? Because we're not a jury. We're the parole,
Like there was
division of
never a
parole.
situation where like somebody said, I didn't do it and got out during parole. There was never that situation. It's pretty much like when you say like
Right. And that's what I was
it's either you stay in or you have like a little bit of a chance.
Right.
So basically, you made the decision. You admitted to a crime that you didn't do just to come home to your family.
I probably would have done the same thing.
And then they denied me parole. It's a risk. It's literally a gamble that you take.
It's still a gamble, but at least it's like
gamble.
yeah.
Right? It's still a gamble. So they denied me parole and gave me, which is the highest, the highest they can give you when they deny you parole is 24 months. Right? I have life. So what that means is this, right? For the people that don't know, I have 16 and a half to life. That sentence usually is read like that, but the sentence really is life with 16 and a half years before we think about letting you go.
Ugh.
Right? I need you to think about it like that. You have a life bid. We will consider letting you go after 16 and a half years. Not that we have to let you go, not that we want to let you go. Based on a number of factors, we will decide if we should let you go or not. That's what that means, right? And so your institutional record, your rap sheet, all of that is going to play a part, right? Your crime. So that's what happened. And in between 2011 and 2013, the case broke. The case broke with the cop. This is when the phone call happened with my mother, the article. And then when I go back to before the second parole board now, in 2013, I'm before 3 commissioners. And they asked me about the crime again. What happened, and going through the same thing. And I said, This time, listen,
I'm not guilty.
Right, I'm not guilty. I didn't do it. They said, hold up.
Yeah.
Because at the first, parole boards are recorded. They have a stenographer there, and so they can go right back to the record and say, hold up, you said this. And more importantly, you go to the parole board, you can really never change your story. Right? Because if you want them to believe you, they hold your life literally in their hands. And if you want them to believe, if you want them to believe that you're telling the truth, then once you say something, you have to stick with it. If you say you didn't do it, you better keep saying you didn't do it.
Right.
If you saying you did it, you better keep saying you did it. But the one thing you don't want them to think is that you're a liar.
Yeah.
Right? Because then, if they don't believe what you're saying, and you leave it up to them to say whether they're gonna let you go or not, you'll never get out of prison. Right? So that was the situation. The thing was, when I changed and said that I'm innocent now, I actually had something in my hand, because the kid who testified against me, who the little girl was his cousin, and I'll get to that. It's a crazy story, but he ended up writing a letter to the parole board and saying sorry.
Wow.
Because remember, this is years later. He's older now. Everybody's older now.
And he feels guilty.
And he says, not only does he feel guilty, but I'll tell you what happened. He wrote a letter to the parole board and said, I'm sorry that this man had to do all this time, but he did not kill my cousin. I did not see him do anything. The police, he wrote a heartfelt letter to them.
Wow.
I don't know him. This is a stranger. I don't know him. He don't know me. We never spoke. We never said 2 words to each other.
So why did he write the letter if he didn't feel like guilt?
Because the case is now coming out. It's in the paper and everything. And he knows that he's a part of this. And he knows he never really, all these years back, he never really.
Because if it was a guilt letter, that should have came out a little bit
right,
earlier.
But also, right? Do you guys believe in karma?
Yes. Oh, yes.
I mean, in theory, or do you really believe it?
No, I really believe it. Believe me.
It's about one of the biggest things I believe in, too.
Probably.
We're a very spiritual show.
Yes.
All right. Well, I was on the fence about karma at one time. Right? Halfway believed
Well, I
it.
would be too with your story.
Right?
It's like,
I was on the fence about it until this kind of thing happened. I said, wow, it's like crazy. This kid who the little girl who got killed, the cousin who was there, who testified and said that I'm the one who did it. Mind you, he went through a lineup. He picked me out in a lineup. Also coerced by police, though. Police coerced him along with all this stuff. So this is why I'm really not that mad at him, because he was young and taken advantage of, too. So he picked me out in the lineup, and then he came to a trial. But at the trial, he didn't pick me. They asked him, do you see the person in the courtroom today that was shooting? Blah, 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 blah. He looked at me and he said no. Right? And then the DA painted it as if he doesn't remember. Because keep in mind, from the time the crime happened to the time I went to trial, 2 years went by. So they're saying like, well, they knew who he was then, but now at trial they don't remember. That's why that's why he can't make an in-court identification. Both of the witnesses, it was only 2 witnesses, a guy and a girl. Both of them did the same thing. Both of them, they asked them the same question. Both of them looked at me and said no. But these same 2 people picked me out in the lineup in the precinct. That's how we know that the cops had something to do with it, right? Because now in open court, when you had a chance to say, yeah, that's him right there, neither one of y'all say it, right? So that's what ended up happening, and so there's no in-court identification, and then they chalk it up to that they don't remember because of the time lapse. The jury ate it up, and they ended up finding me guilty, right? But he ended up writing this letter. But why I asked you about karma is because his story is intriguing. What happened? Okay, so now I'm locked up. I don't know that during the course of me getting locked up, because I'm locked up, I'm on state, and life is going on for everybody else. And I don't know that this kid got locked up later on, years later, for murder. Right?
Wow.
And you came across him.
I didn't come across him. And to be honest with you, if I did, I wouldn't even know how he looked. This is how much I don't know these people. I don't know them. Really, literally, like the first time I seen him was when I seen him in court. Like him testifying against me.
Oh my God.
That was the first time I seen him, when he testified against me in trial. I don't know them. Stranger. The area that they say I'm shooting, I've never been in my life.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is totally out, sideways, out the blue. They just put me in saying I did something that I don't know the people, I don't know nothing. So he said he wrote the letter, but now years later I don't know that he's locked up for murder himself. And the murder that he's locked up for is what made me believe, right? Him and his girlfriend, what I ended up finding out, him and his girlfriend was going through something, they broke up. The girlfriend had a friend, quote unquote, boyfriend or friend, I don't know. But they were living together. No, well, this is not his girlfriend, this is his kid's mother. Like they have a kid together. So they broke up, he left. One day they got into, I don't know, some sort of beef. He says, listen, I want my TV, right? I'm coming over there to get my TV. You know how it goes. I'm coming over there to get my TV. Well, come get your TV. He goes to the house with his father to go get the TV. While over there, this all comes out in court. I'm just sitting there listening. So he says, while they go over there to get the TV, apparently the friend, quote unquote, boyfriend or whoever this guy was there. So the baby father, the guy who testified against me, ends up getting to something with this guy and shoot him in the house. Killing him.
Oh my God.
Right? But look what happened. The bullet goes through the guy and hit his baby mother and his baby.
What the heck? Oh my God.
Wait, so
True story.
they're alive though, right?
They're alive. The guy's dead. They're alive.
What the
And they gave him a whole bunch of time. He's upstate right now.
He killed his own child and...
No. The
no.
child is
The
alive.
baby lived
Oh.
and the baby
The
mom
baby
lived.
and the baby mom lived.
They lived.
Wow.
Oh, but he did shoot them.
He
But he
shot
Shot
Yeah,
like
went through.
accidentally. Oh my God.
them. And I said, wow, what a, just the sequence of
crazy
how
shit.
things happen, right?
So he thought about it and
I think throughout the years, what he went through and what he was going through and everything, with the fact that he got older, right? I think that probably was always in the back of his mind. And so when the opportunity came all of those years later, he did it, right? Not, and the thing is, what's so foul is that when this came out, they have a unit in the district attorney's office called the Conviction Review Unit, called the CRU, and they investigate these cold cases that happened 20, 25 years ago, whatever. Now, they are charged with investigating these cases today. So they go back, re-interview witnesses to find out if the guy that is locked up is really the right person. That unit that is supposed to be finding out whether I'm innocent or not threatened him and told him, if you change your story, you could be charged with perjury. This kid, and this is why I'm not mad at the kid. This is why I look at the bigger picture. This kid said, I don't care.
Wow.
I don't care. I don't care. This man been locked
He's
up.
locked up
I don't
for
know
murder.
him though. Well, I'm a stranger. I don't know him. But I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna show you why it's so important. Because the female, they did the same thing, and guess what she did? She said, "Well, I'm changing my story." Right? Because at first she said, "Yeah," she did the same thing he did. But when they told her, if you change your story, we're gonna charge you with perjury. She said, "Okay, well, don't change my story." She said, "Don't change my story."
I can't.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you, real life.
So
She said, "Don't change my story."
conflicting witnesses.
Exactly, and it made it better for me. I didn't care. I didn't care because now she had 3 statements that was conflicting. So what the judge did was the judge said her testimony Like they act like she didn't even exist, right? Like they just cut her out the whole equation. Because at trial, remember, she testified at trial, that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Then my lawyer, when it came out, my lawyer went and interviewed her. And that's when she said, she said, I didn't never pick him. And blah, 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 blah. My lawyer said, okay, are you going to sign an affidavit and sworn statement? She was like, yeah. And she did it. But then the DA came to visit her after my lawyer and then had another discussion with her and told her, well, you know, you said this. You know, if you change that, we charge you with perjury. Now, this girl is grown up now. And she got kids now and all of that stuff. And I don't know her. I don't know her situation. So I don't know how she might have felt when they told her that. She's like, I'm not. Well, keep my story the same. You come in here after. Think about this now. Yeah. Detectives was coming to her house almost 2 decades later talking about we can charge you with perjury. He was locked up. And then he was adamant about his position. So it didn't really bother him. It didn't affect him. It didn't. He didn't care.
He's locked up for
because
murder.
he like, I already got years in. So
but her, she was not willing
to
break. So I'm just showing you how difficult the situation, right? And she even lied. She said my lawyer tried to threaten her. You should see my lawyer. My lawyer's a little lady like this, big, 5 feet. White lady, this big. God. And she's going to the projects in Brooklyn, going to interview her. She said, I couldn't threaten anybody. And the judge believed it, it was a lie because they threatened her. And these are keep in mind, these are the people that's supposed to be seeing if I'm innocent. Right? So I knew the whole thing was, the whole system is like a sham. It is.
Completely.
No,
it is. And I'm not saying that because this happened to me. I'm saying this because of facts. Things that actually happened that I can point out and say, well, listen, look at this and look at this and look at this and you tell me. Right? So, after he did that and it took some time. When I came home, I was on parole for 4.5 years. After doing the 18.5.
Wait, but why were you on parole?
Because parole just decided to release me. But the court, I still had the felony and the crime. They still hadn't took that away. So I still got to have a process with that. Right? Not to mention that I'm coming home. It just messed up a lot of stuff. I came home and then to like a $40,000 debt. Right? Because keep in mind, I said I had a son. Right? And so way back when, my son's mother was on public assistance. But she ended up going to the military, right? And she stayed in the military for a very long time. She's retired now. But at the time, after she had my son, she was on public assistance for maybe a year. And then she joined the military and then did 20-something years, right? That little year, interest accrued over 18.5 years. Along with child support. And then they said that, so when I came home, they said I owe $40,000.
Of course.
Right? So now, in addition to what's going on, they also saying I owe $40,000, right? So any job I get, anything I get, they're taking it. They're taking it. Like,
yeah.
I got my accounts, like frozen and all that. Like, what? Yeah, they wasn't playing, right? And I literally was working for free. Like, it was tough. And so, but I didn't care. I was home.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I was happy to be home. I was.
Yeah.
But how was it like adjusting though after 18 years?
It was a lot of adjustment because
you came out to cell phones, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm
All
saying.
this new technology.
That's what I'm saying. I came out to that.
Social media.
Yeah. And like literally every aspect of society changed. Everything. Like how you do everything kind of changed. You know what I'm saying? Like we was talking and I said, you know, like they had like when I was home they had tokens like for public transportation, and so now they got Metro cards, right? And I didn't know and I always say like a person that did a lot of time, even when you watch the movies, right? They, you know, I guess they make jokes about it or sometimes, you know, but a person that's been locked up for a long time, especially from that era, they are very intimidated by anything computerized because nothing was computerized in 1995. Everything was mechanical, literally. Nothing was touch, no button for anything. And so now you come home and it was like adjusting to that was people, the general I guess morals and principles of people haven't changed, always been around, but the way people operate every day have changed, right? Because of social media and the internet. Like I'm not used to like someone walking by, like a lot of people walking by into their phones and
that's
right,
us.
right. So, and they're just going about their business. It wasn't like that. It's only something that a person like me, like you notice very small, subtle things when it's been taken away from you, right? So guys in prison, a lot of them realize, you know, a lot of them want to just come home and see some of the simple things. Like that's why I said I was just happy to be home. So even when they was taking the money, I was like, listen, I want to go and like I was like, yo, I got jeans on, cause
right, that onesie, right? Or you're wearing
because
onesie?
you don't wear jeans, right? You don't wear jeans. No, that wasn't the one.
Was it orange?
No, it was. They wear. That's in other states.
Oh, okay.
Some states wear orange.
Okay, so it's not
but
like
in New York they wear greens. They wear state greens.
Okay.
Green would be
and
my
it's
color.
like a button up.
You can't choose.
Button up shirt with like
button-up
slackish type pants.
Figures these three would talk about the
Fashion.
fashion.
Yeah, orange is definitely my color.
What about the food? Like coming back home to whatever.
What was your first meal?
Well, when I came home, when I was coming home, it was like the first day I came home, it was like on the news and stuff like that, because it was like they knew like this guy's being released, you know, from this crime back in 1995, blah blah. So my lawyers came to pick me up, and my cousin bought me some clothes and stuff.
Hey, cousin.
Right? And
he was tired of that damn green.
Yeah, I'm tired of the green, right?
Like, please give me some jeans.
Right? Yeah, he bought me a little polo groove.
Oh,
and I was like, yeah, now. And so my lawyers came, and then my lawyer was like, her name is Leah. She's sweet. She said, she said, I'm gonna put together some music for you. You know, like a playlist, right? She's like, I'm gonna put a playlist together for you. Let me know what you want to listen to, right? So I was like running around in jail, like, yo, you know what songs is like? They like, yo, put this down, like, you should put this, because I'm like, look, listen now, they, you know, these are white people, right? So I don't want you to be putting.
Yeah, Britney Spears and shit like that.
So I'm like, yo, you gotta put some songs that all of us can listen to, right? Because it's a long ride. Because I was when I was being released, I was on the border of Canada, in a prison called Bear Hill Correctional Facility. It's on
God,
the
they
border.
put you all the way up there. Jesus Christ.
It was cold. It was wintertime. It was December 3rd. I was released, and then. We stopped at a diner that was, because this part of New York is I don't know, people don't go there. People from the city is not
like upstate.
Upstate, like
there's
parts
country.
of upstate that's
it's country.
You would never know exist, right? Like
yes.
it's like I'm literally like it's parts of, like, you wouldn't think about this though. It's like you wouldn't think this is New York. This is New York. It's just a section of, because you know,
Jersey
usually
like
when,
that too.
right, Jersey. When people say New York, they usually think about the 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
Forgetting that there's a whole nother section. And this other section is different. You only experience it when you go upstate, right? So there's a lot of towns that you probably never heard of, never probably gonna go to, that they're believe it or not, they're white people that never came into contact with black people. Like, you wouldn't believe that in New York. Like, this is New York. Like, you think a white person in New York never really been around no black person.
Right.
Black person is there, right?
Wow.
Yeah, because they stay in that pocket of New York, and that's it, right? They build, the prison industry feeds the town. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing in those towns, those prisons, right? Yeah, because you need nurses, you need counselors, you need correctional officers, right? You need a staff to run a prison. And that's what they get them, right? So, you know, I came home that day, and I remember throwing up because I was in a car, and I ain't been in a car, and we was driving. It's a ride. That's why I was telling you how far it was, because it's
like 8 hours.
Yep.
Damn.
God, not being in a car for years.
Yeah.
Right? And then 8
Yeah,
hours.
I was like,
Oh,
and then I was
my
like,
God.
and I never ever got car sick in my life, ever. I couldn't believe that I couldn't believe that I got sick because of that. I still be like, wow, because and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and she's playing the music, and we're talking, and I'm like, you know, the first thing you do when you start feeling like I'm lying down the window, and need some air, because I'm like, damn, well, I feel, but I'm like, and then I said, could you pull over? She said, you all right? And I pulled over through up, and I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Like, and she was like, you're gonna be all right. Got something to get you some water, and I was all right after that. And then I got home, and like the news was there. They have it. You can see it on YouTube or you Google it. Like,
when you first come home.
Yeah, like, and then my family had like a surprise party.
And you saw your son for
and
the
all
first
that
time.
stuff. No, my son wasn't there.
Oh.
My son was, because my son by this time.
That damn chair.
By this time, by this time, my son was in the military.
Oh, he went to the military.
Wow.
Wow.
And
That's
how
a
old was
whole-
he? Like, he was 18, because you said he was 7 months.
Yeah.
When I came, he was only 7 months. When I
Wow.
came home, my son's birthday is on New Year's Day.
Oh, my birthday's New Year's Eve.
Get out of here.
Yeah, Capricorn.
His birthday is coming up January 1st. Yep. Yeah. So he's going to be 26.
Wow.
Wow, he's really our age.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we went through this.
He's
Wow.
26. Yep. Yeah, he's like my twin. He looks just like tall.
It must have been so emotional when you first. So you haven't. When did you actually see him?
Oh, I did see him. Maybe like. I can't remember. I seen him a little while because he was. I remember he came to New York, and I seen him like maybe 2 weeks after I
You came home.
Yeah, but before I came home, because there was a period of time like, because remember he's a baby, so
He doesn't really remember you.
he don't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a period of time that he's not writing either.
Oh.
Right? We're not communicating. But then there was a point where he got old enough to write. Like, and I remember that he wrote his first letter. Like, man, he can write. Because before I used to have to go through, like, his mother or somebody.
Yeah.
And then he little and hey, write your father, a little kid, and stop playing to write your father. Like, he write a little line, and that's be it, right? And that's cool, that was cool. But then, I got to a point where he would actually sit down and write. Like, he would write me, like himself. Nobody would have to tell him, and that was a happy moment for me. And then when I came home, I kind of, we had been writing for a little, like,
Oh, okay.
A little while
Yeah.
before I came home, and then when I came home, I knew it was going to take a little while for our relationship because we, like I said, it
like
was
a
non-existent
stranger,
really.
kind
Like,
of.
it was like, and I know he, his uncle, met my son's brother, talked to him, and like. And he would talk to me, we would talk to me, and he would talk to my son. And he asked my son, like, how do you feel? Same question that, like you asking me, how did you feel, right? They asking him, how you feel? And he said, well, I don't know how to feel, like, because it like, I never had a father, so I don't even know what that really feels like, or, I just always lived without of dad, so
yeah,
I don't know if I should be happy about that, or I don't know my feelings. Like, basically, he was saying. So I understood that, and I knew that it would be a process, and I kind of was patient with the process, and we good now. Like, we tight now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's your twin.
Yeah, we tight now.
Can you talk a little bit about what you got going on now, though?
Yes.
Yeah, now a lot. I'm opening up a restaurant. I'm opening up a restaurant in Brooklyn and Kings Plaza Mall. It's called Wings American Grill.
I'll be there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the wing.
We'll be there.
The wing place, right? Part of a franchise that originated from down south. So they're really in North Carolina, Raleigh, Durham, and those locations down there. I'm the first location in New York. So it's really good. Real macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm feeling
and I'm also there's a film being made now in the works. The screenplay is almost finished.
And this about your life and everything.
Yeah,
that
it's
you've gone
actually
through?
about the story. Well, part of it is about it, but I'm one of those people that because of this experience, I like to kind of open people's eyes to this, and I kind of take it off what personally happened to me, because I wouldn't be trying to tell my story if I didn't think it was worth telling to help other people. Not because I'm not into just telling another sob story. Right, just for the sake of telling it so people can feel sorry for you or whatever the case may be, right? Like they say, it's a line that says 8 million stories in a naked city, right? So it's a lot of tragic stories, but it's a purpose to why I would like it's going as far as to making a film and writing a book, right? It's because there's no ending, right? Keep in mind, the cop is not locked up.
Oh, he's not locked up.
Because he's retired.
And they found out that he's done this to over a dozen people.
So he has no repercussions for anything that he's done.
Well, there's no repercussions because there's a bigger scandal, right? Hence the story. Because when everything started happening, of course, they're aiming at him now. Now there's a lot of things on the line. His freedom and his pension. Not only that, but in 30-something years, don't you think he worked with other cops, detectives?
Right.
You think he did this by himself?
Right.
Yeah.
We think he set all these people up
Right.
by himself.
Right.
So that ended up coming out. The New York Times did an article, the Daily News, they said, hold up. And then when everything started, there's a lot of political stuff that I'm not telling you about. There's a lot of political stuff that ended up happening with the DA's office.
Yeah.
Them running and them finding out and all the stuff. A lot of stuff had happened, right? And it kind of shook up Kings County, like, bad. Because you can know what's coming after all of this. Lawsuits, right? So no one wants to be liable, and no one wants to go to jail. So he says, listen, this isn't, and this he said this, and I'm quoting him. He says, this is not the Louis Scarcella show. I'm just a cop. I don't take people to trial. That's what he said.
He's taking away blame from himself.
That's what he said. So now think about this now. Think about, this guy was on a Dr. Phil show. Like, he was somebody. He wasn't like a regular little cop on the street. He was on TV and everything. Like, because he was very decorated. Gold badge, he get awards, everything. And he was powerful. So whatever he said, now that he's backtracking and he's saying, listen, I'm just a cop. Now all those people he worked with, these people heard it, what he said. So that's why they don't want to take this pension. They don't want to charge him with nothing. And what they're running with is the statute of limitations ran out. Yes, he did these things. The statute of limitations ran out to charge him with anything. We can't charge him with nothing, right? And he
It's cheaper to keep him.
Right, and then in turn, when he testifies, because I had a hearing where the judge had to overturn my case, right? And when he testifies, he says, I don't remember. He has his lawyers, and he says, I don't remember. And he says, and then he like deflects a lot of stuff. Like, you got to see him. He's trained, right? And he's good. He's experienced. He got a lot of backup, a lot of cops. The cops was coming to the courtroom, like, even after all these accusations and all this stuff came out. Like, he framed ladies. He was going off.
Wow.
Right. He was going off.
Because he was being decorated. So
When I say, look, just think training day. Like I said, to keep your mind on Denzel Washington training day.
Oh my God.
I'm literally not exaggerating. Like, he was doing all this type of stuff, and when they found out, and then he said, listen, I'm just a cop. I don't take people to trial. I'm not a district attorney. So how'd that happen? Figure that out. And when he said that, they left him alone. Yeah, I'm not.
Nobody wants to.
Right, because and one of my lawyer had told me one day, and it's something I'll never forget, and I thought about it. He said, it's sad, but the system will never indict itself. And it's true, right? So when a district attorney or when a head district attorney or somebody that is charged with bringing charges, what happens when they do something wrong, right? Who charges them? Who charges the district attorney? Who charges an ADA? Because they do have partial immunity.
But what about the FBI? Yo, I'm dead serious.
Right?
Though.
No. Well, the FBI, the Justice Department is supposed to investigate large-scale corruption. They're supposed to investigate the whole district attorney's office. Like, they can investigate like they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They investigated the whole police department because they felt they was corrupt.
Right.
So, if you know that this is not an isolated incident, then it's not like it's just me or maybe just me and two other people. He did this to, like, I was like the 13th person exonerated. Right? And they're still investigating right now as we speak, and they're still investigating his cases. Right? And so they don't want to, and he's still collecting a pension. And they don't really want to prosecute him because they scared of everything that's going to come out. So what they really want to do, what they've been doing, and what they really want to do, which I don't agree with, is they've been throwing out the cases, paying hush money, right, to the people that was affected, and just leaving it alone. So now society doesn't really know what really took place. The cop keeps his pension, right? Now, some people will be okay with that. Me personally, I'm not okay with that, right? This is why, like, I'm trying to take the cover. That's why I'm talking about the film and all that.
On her point of view.
Never took no check though.
I did take a check, but not for
for false imprisonment.
Not for no. What happens is you're gonna get a check, irregardless.
Yeah.
So you're gonna take the check.
Yeah.
Is what you do after that. What I'm saying to you is that
because most people take the
there's
check
some people
and then they
who've
don't
been
do
wrongfully,
anything.
right. There's some people who've been wrongfully convicted. Like, you can look me up. I did a lot of stuff. I did rallies on City Hall, everything.
I I seen you on Queen's Flip show.
Right, the Queen's Flip. I did Al Jazeera, America Tonight. I did ABC News. Literally every.
Yeah, because now I seen them on as like I'm sitting here and like I'm hearing the story. I'm like, yo, I heard this shit, and I'm like, somebody said, I think this the dude that was on a Flip show, and I was like, yo, that's where I seen him. Yeah, he was up there too, right? Yep. See,
and that was the first time. Like that's the first time I ever. And then, like I said, that was the first time I did that type of platform. Because just before that, I did an interview with Pix 11 News, right? And then I spoke at Pace University, right? So the audience would be students and professors and people from the law enforcement community, right? I always wanted to speak to the urban community because that's what needed to hear, right? What I'm saying, right? And for their eyes to be open and what I'm saying, so it goes deeper. So one of the things that I do is that I advocate for wrongful conviction. So among things like speaking, like they're real things that we do. And so one of the things, we have families that are wrongfully convicted. There's a few of us, a few people who've been exonerated. And we bring attention to those sort of things, right? And so one of the things that we did, we met with the deputy mayor of New York City and sat down and spoke about how do we prevent wrongful convictions from happening. So we identified certain things. One, lineups, right? How lineups are conducted. How interrogations are conducted in NYC, meaning if cops are interrogating you, you should have a recording of that, right? Because people have been wrongfully convicted because of what happened in those interrogations. Hence what you brought up earlier, Central Park 5, right?
Yeah, they still coerce them.
Yeah,
they only had a video.
So real quick, there's a question in the chat that I want you to answer if you can. Derek Drake, he says, do you have any advice for someone going through a situation like you experienced? What advice would you give that person? That's a good
question. As I said earlier, what I experienced in prison about education, right? It might sound cliche, but in anything you do, information is key. Information is key. And I'll make it simple for you, right? Whatever you don't know in life, and all of us have experienced this, right? Whatever you don't know in life, you pay for in monetary gains, right? So the example is, if something goes wrong with your vehicle and you don't know how to fix it, what's gonna happen?
That's so true.
And you're gonna pay for it, right? That goes with everything in life. Whatever you don't know, someone is gonna charge you for what you don't know. Believe that, right? And so when I talk to young kids that don't want to go to school, I always paint that picture because I know they like money, and I know they like nice things, right? So I always say, hey, you look nice. I see you got some Jordans on. So I know you like some money. Your mother ain't gonna buy you that one. And then we have a conversation, right? And so, whatever you don't know. And so that's one of the things that helped me a lot. That's one of the things that helped me greatly. Like, law work is very hard. It's hard.
To pass the bar is one of the hardest things.
Because the internet, inmates don't have the access to the internet, right? Because of a lot of different reasons, right?
So now they do, right?
Well, no. They have access to a computer, but not the internet.
Oh.
Because
what are they playing, solitaire? Like, what are they doing on the internet?
Not just that, but take for example that I may be a raper. I may be stalking my ex-wife.
Yeah, that's a good
There's
point.
cyber
That's true.
bullying and cyber stalking and all this stuff. So you're not going to have any internet access, right? Not to mention that I can reach out to witnesses if I have a case. It don't even have to be a sexual crime. It could be all type of stuff. So you're not going to have access, period. They have a certain program that you can get on and just look up legal stuff. That's it.
Oh. That's good.
Right, that's it. You can research a case, do stuff like that. As far as trying to do anything else, that's it. Right? So you don't have that access, and people, it's hard for people to kind of fight their case. Very hard, because legal jargon derives a lot from Latin. It has like a lot of Latin terms, like erga nobis and these different terms that you're probably not going to be familiar with or ever have to read ever in your life, right? And these titles of different motions. That's hard for somebody coming from the hood. And they like, I damn near don't know how to read. I got an 8th grade reading level, 7th grade reading level, and you ask me to understand this and fight the case, right?
Yeah.
And so education is what's going to get you through that. Not your mother crying for you. Seriously, right? It might sound harsh, but not your mother crying for you, because my mother had a lot of sleepless nights. Not your mother crying for you. Not you being the toughest gangster. Not even you having the most money, as some people think, right? You know how some people say, if I had the money, I wouldn't be in that situation. It's only halfway true. Because if that was the case, there wouldn't be no rich people in jail. And trust me, there's people in jail with money.
Yeah.
There's people in jail with money. They still go to jail, right? Because again, it's always going to boil down to education and knowledge, right?
I mean, it reminds me of like Ted Bundy. Have you ever watched how he he literally would talk his way? He knew exactly what to say. He basically was his own lawyer and got like.
Well, you can pay a lot of money. You can pay a lot of money. You ever paid a lot of money to somebody and he didn't do a good job?
That's my car all the time.
That is your car.
Right? You might have painted somebody to paint something like, and they ain't painted right. You're like, look at this, right? But you paid a lot of money. That happens with lawyers, right? Your family scrape up every little penny.
Right.
And lawyers know. The lawyers are like anything else. They can be crooks, right? They'll take your money. They'll take your money because they know you don't know. It's tempting.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be. Nobody is no one or no industry is exempt from being corrupt and taking advantage of you, right? Not a cop, not a doctor, not a priest, not a fireman, nobody. And that's what that kind of taught me, right? Like, it's not the position of the person that you necessarily got to trust. And so that's why when a person asks that type of question, as hard as it is really all about seeking information and seeking how to be better and how to get yourself out of a situation. First and foremost. Of course, there's other things. I'm not saying that money doesn't help. Of course, money helps to get you some good representation, right? But my point is, I had a little money. I had a lawyer, and get me out, right? I had got, and the thing is, I was listening to an article, interview with T.I. and Chris Tucker. And Chris Tucker said, you can give away $10 million. Right? I don't know why people think. He said, you can give away 20. Right? So he said, oh yeah, you can. My point is, if you take, I'm locked up, my sweet old mother or grandmother or grandfather, right, go under their mattress and get their little life savings to get their kid out of jail. And they go to this lawyer. They don't know. Come on. Like, think about your grandmother. They just trying to get you out of jail.
Right.
So your sweet old grandmother go to the lawyer's office and say, here, I got my last $12,000 that I've been saving up for the last 15 years. I'm trying to get my baby out. Aww. Here goes my money. And the lawyer says, ching-ching. Take $12,000. Do a motion. I'm telling you, this happened to me. I gave a guy $10,000. My mother gave a guy $10,000, and he literally just put in an extension of time. That's what I paid $10,000 for.
Wow.
And what I'm gonna do? I'm locked up.
Yeah.
Right, and they know it. They know you locked up. So they took it from your sweet mother.
Wow.
Usually, I'm gonna tell you something, right? Usually in those type of situations, this guy is gonna be dealing with a female. It's not gonna be a guy. In most cases, in 99% of the cases, it's not gonna be a father. It's not gonna be an uncle. It's not gonna be a brother, right? It's gonna be a female.
It's very smart.
I'm telling you, this is why. You know, even through this situation, I just got so much respect for females in general, right? Because I seen that when you go to most male prisons, right? I used to go to Juma, what they call it, right? Where the Muslims go to on every Friday, right? And this imam, he had said that he go to different prisons. And he said, I went to the female jail. He said, I went to the female prison. And when you go to the female prison and you go to like the visiting floor, it's like, damn, like nobody support the females.
Wow.
The only people you see is like their family, like they, you know, like they mother. Like you don't see dudes like the way if you go to a guy's jail, oh my God, you gonna see all the females up there. You're going to see them with the babies. You're going to see them with the packages, dragging packages up there. They up there. You're going to see aunts. And I'm not just saying girlfriends. I'm saying you're going to see a mixture of just women. Mothers, aunts, grandmothers, girlfriends, wives. They up there. Daughters go see their fathers, all that. But with the other side, is like, damn, like they're not getting the same support from men. So because I realized that, like, I was like, because you know, I'm young, 19 years old. So I used to always, like, I don't call females, and I haven't in years. Like, I don't use the B word or none of that, right? So, yeah, I don't. Like, and I haven't done so in years, though. But that was one of the reasons that sparked that, right? Because I was like, damn, you know what? That's kind of, like, sad, right? For black males, I'm saying. For our state as just people in general, right?
Right.
That, you know, they're not getting that same support. So not just in that way, but when we're gone, who's holding up our community? Because we still got little boys. I had a son. So it wasn't males that reared my son when I was gone. It was females, right? His aunts. And I'm telling you, I got 4 brothers. They didn't, I don't know what it is about men. Like, they don't, you know, and I'm not saying all men. I'm not saying all men. You really got some good men that get involved that way. But for the most part, when you go to these urban communities, that's what you see, right? These guys that's getting killed and getting locked up, the kids that they leaving out there is being reared by these females. And so I'm just connecting that to what I've seen in prison and the outlook that I got and how I grew to that point, right? And so when people ask that question and different questions, I tell them where I got it from, right? So when someone says, you don't say the B word, I don't force nobody not to say it. I still know, I don't say the N word either, but I still know that people around me, even my friends, they say it all day. I don't say anything, right? Because that's my personal growth. That's my personal journey, right? And I don't put that on nobody else.
Put it on them.
Right? It's just something that, no, now if they learn from it, because I've had people also say, I noticed that you don't. I'll never say it, right? I'll never say, you know, this never comes up, right? But some people have noticed. And then if they take something from that and it helps them, then fine, you know. And if not, you know, that's the only thing I get from it. But it's really for my own personal growth, and it was because of the things that I seen. And the reason, that's for the B word. For the N word, I was in the solitary confinement in prison. And I did a lot of time in solitary confinement, and I remember.
How long did you do? And so, like, combined around, estimated how much time?
Like,
jeez.
Yeah.
I know, because they leave you in there a long time. Well, it doesn't. Is it because of fighting? It always is because of fighting.
Different things.
It could be small things
it
too.
Could be
that's
small.
just like.
Yeah. But they're very. See, it's hard to explain to y'all like how it is in there, right?
I can't even like get
because
my mind.
y'all only see the inside of prison on TV,
Yeah.
right? And some of it
Is accurate.
Some of it is accurate,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's very corrupt, and it's a world of its own. And I'm gonna tell you something. Even it would change you, not just as a prisoner, even correctional officers. Let me tell you something. They have a movie. Now I'll give y'all a little bit of homework. I'll tell you about it. They have a movie called it's a true story, based on a true story. There was an experiment done at Stanford University years ago. It was an old experiment, and they made a movie about it. The movie is sort of recent. Came out probably a year, maybe 2 ago. And it's called It's called the Stanford Prison Experiment. And what they did was they took a bunch of college students and they made a makeshift prison. And the experiment was to last a week. And they asked the students, what do you want to be? You want to be a prisoner or you want to be a guard? And they got to pick what they wanted to be. So they split it up. And they said the only thing that we ask is no one can put their hands on each other. No one can hit each other, nothing like that, right? But everything else goes, as we running this as a real prison. And they did it. And the results were shocking. I'm not gonna tell you what happened.
Oh my God.
But the results were shocking, and it's a true story, and it's done by Stanford University. You can look it up, right? But I'm telling you that, right? Because the effects of prison on both ends, prisoner and correction officer, right? The psychological effects of it is deep, you know, especially for people who've done like a long period of time. For me, I'm lucky in so many ways. Let me not say lucky. I'm blessed in so many ways. One is that I had a family, like a good family, right? Parents. I got a lot of things in prison that a lot of people didn't get and will never get, right? I got packages. I got mail. I was able to get on the phone. All of these things are very, 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 very important. Like, people would write me. I would get pictures. Like, I was in a cell with a guy, right? You know how it feels like, all right, this is the door. This is the door, right? So at 3 o'clock every day. Now, look, me and her, let's just say me and her. This is my cellie, right? Me and her have to be in a cell for a year. Now, when I say that, what I mean by that is this. Cut that part of the room off. We're just in this space for a year together.
My God.
Right? Every day at 3 o'clock, mail comes. Right here is a slot. So the officer comes by with the mail on a cart, opens up the slot. He gives the mail to whoever gets mail that day, me or her, right? Now, could you imagine being in a cell for the person for that 12 months, right? And for those 12 months, when every time that slot opens, the mail is for you. Not only that, but it was so crazy because I was getting the mail, like I would get mail like every day. Right? Like my family, because like I said, I got a lot of brothers and sisters, nieces, nephews, all friends and different. So I had people writing me and stuff, sending me pictures, different things. And when the mail is, of course, we in prison, so we fiending for like any type of human interaction from outside, right? So, when everybody know when 3 o'clock coming around, and usually people be like standing by the door, like by the gate, waiting for the mailman. And it got to the point where, like, I'm telling you, what I'm telling you right now is something that every inmate, like, that's probably listening is gonna relate to, because literally everybody does that. They get mail, like they waiting for their girl to write, they waiting for they anybody, their kids or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where when 3 o'clock came, he would just be on the bunk like this. He not even near the gate. He know he's not getting any mail, right? And that's crazy when like it's one thing to like be there, you not get the mail, right? But it's one thing to or think about the mindset that already knows that mail is not coming for him, where he's at in his, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, you know. So, like, but we was cool though, like, and then like sometime I would be like, yo, like open that up, and I'm gonna open this up, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and like I would get pictures, and we'd be looking at the pictures, and I'd be like, yo, this, you know, just trying to, you know what I mean, because he was young. It was just like he was younger than me, like he was like a young guy going through that, you know what I'm saying, like he was like 23 years old, you know what I'm saying. I was like, damn, you know, and he wasn't. So my point is, those little privileges like mail and visits and things that can keep you close to society, right? Yeah. So this is why when I came home, all my friends will tell you this though. When I came home, yes, there were certain things like you were saying, technology that I was lost on. But in other aspects, you would never tell that I did that amount of time.
Wow.
Right? Because my family and friends kept me alive.
Yeah.
Like, yo, we listening to this. Yo, Nelly out. Yo, listening to Nelly. Yo, different that's like dope. Music, clothes, pictures. This helps, right? Right. Pictures, visits. You know what I'm saying? They have these things called festivals every year. Where like it's like like you know, like the jail have some type of thing where family can come and stuff like that. You know, like so. But on the flip side of that, there's people that haven't been on the phone in 30 years.
Wow.
Because in order to get on the phone, in order for me to make a phone call to somebody in the street, that means someone took the time out, took some money, took the block off the phone, right? Went, right? They had to, we know, they had to actually, this is not just a press a button thing. You actually have to have the money, first of all.
Right.
Because not everybody have, you know, believe it or not everybody have an extra $50 to put on the phone.
Right.
Jeez.
I mean, it sounds sad, but we watched Khalid Browder, and
I know.
You had a bunch of kids in prison. It's true. Who all their bail was, Khalid Browder bail was $500. He couldn't get out.
I know. Wow.
Look, you got guys that their bail is $1,000 or less. I'm not talking about one or two people. It's sad. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds and Rikers Island is humongous. Hundreds and hundreds of kids. And these are kids that you see every day in your hood, wherever you from. These are kids that you see running around up and down, go to the store, whatever, you know, maybe 17, 18. They get locked up, they can't get out. Their bail might be $1,000.
Crazy.
No, because, and it sounds, but the reality is true though, because if I have bills, right? The person who has an extra $1,000 to do anything is a person that's doing okay in New York City. To be honest with you, right? Because the reality is, after a person take care of all their responsibilities, and they better not have, we talking about, like, you better not have a bunch of kids, put it like that, right? One kid is hard to take care of. One. If you got 3, 4, 5, 6 kids, some females walking around with a football squad, you know.
My family, hey,
right? And that's cool, right? So in that situation, you know, I got my own apartment, I got a car, I got a job. Now my job is not the worst job, and it's not the best job, right? I don't have $1,000 or $500 for something that's not going into nothing that I can eat or something that I really need.
Okay.
So look, from that aspect, and people are struggling in the hood, you know, and so
right.
and you can tell by all those people that you see. So just seeing that, it makes me know how fortunate that I look at the sort of like the upside, you know. There is a tragic part of the story. The fact that, okay, yeah, I did 18 and a half years. The cop who locked me up and sort of framed me and a lot of the other things that happened, he's still out. So that's something for the legal world to figure out, right? And so that's why the film is coming out, because now when the film comes out, if you go, I don't know if you've seen When They See Us.
Yeah,
right?
Oh my God, I cried every day
So,
so emotional.
yeah, so the idea is that when a film comes out, that the general public will then ask those questions, right? Because we know that public pressure. See, one thing about platforms like this right here is very, very, very powerful. The district attorney's office or any entity, right? The only way they're able to do the things that they're doing is when no one hears it. They need to keep it secret.
Right.
They don't like people that go out into the media and speak about these topics right here, right? Because I'm gonna tell you something. It's a very testy and dangerous topic. It's a bold topic for people that want to be bold, right? But it's a very testy topic, almost like politics, right? You know, if you say something about the president, they're gonna focus on your show, right? If you say bad things about the president, they're gonna focus on your show.
Let's try that.
Right? Right? No, years ago, they had a group called the Dixie Chicks. They're popular. They said something about Bush. And she shut them down. They couldn't tour. They couldn't do a lot of stuff, right? Because it just felt like they were saying stuff about the president and stuff like that. So you use that example. Now, this topic is connected to people's jobs. That's why it's big. That's why it affects. So when They See Us came out, if you can see what happened after, right? They're trying to sue Ava. All this stuff happened. Trump said something. Right, because these things, the lady Linda Fairstein, she got dropped from a lot of her. A lot of real things actually happened because of that movie. It wasn't just you watched the movie and got sad and said, "Oh, that's messed up. What happened to them?" And they got justice and that's good. No, people, investigations got open. People, like, they start doing stuff because now public is like, hold up, nah, we ain't going for that. What happened?
Right.
What happened to this person? Why that person is not in trouble? See, now when the public start doing things like that, and that's what I intend to do with the film. That once the general public sees what actually happened on film, then they will then say, well, why isn't Scarcella locked up? And then he will not be able to say things like, oh, I'm just a cop.
Right.
The public is not going for that. The public is going to say, well, we need to know everybody
involved
that was in cahoots. The problem with that is why it becomes so big and why they don't mind spending money to keep it quiet. They said it, New York Times in the article, they spent over $30 million already, right? They don't mind doing it because it's too many people involved. That's a lot of people. You got to remember, we're talking about, he became a cop in 75 or 76. He retired in 1999, right? Now, look, take that chunk of time, then add 13 years into his retirement. Take that chunk of time. That's a lot of time, and that's a lot of people, and that's a lot of cases. And they asked him, they said, how many homicide cases, because they was digging in. They said, listen, how many homicide cases you worked on? He said, well, in my time as a detective, I worked on about 350 homicides. Wow. He said, I ran 100. He said, I ran 175 and I assisted on another 175. You know how long that's going to take? These are cold cases. You know, think of what happened to witnesses over the course of time. I was lucky that they found my witnesses 18 years later. But that was only because they was young. They wasn't drug addicts. They were just regular kids. So they found them. But keep in mind, where my crime happened at, they broke the whole area down. Doesn't even exist no more. They renovated the whole projects.
Oh yeah, Fort Greene is
not even
now.
Fort Greene, but it happened in Brownsville in an area called Prospect Plaza. Right, the plaza they
like
took
by
whole,
Prospect Park, right? Isn't it?
It's like
it's a little further.
Yeah, it's a little further. Like It's Brownsville area.
must
Brownsville.
be- Yeah, you know.
Because the guys at my job like live around like Brooklyn, and it's just like even just
so
because
different now.
Yeah.
it looks completely different.
It looks like
No, it
Manhattan.
does. Yeah. Well, yeah. My
Even
area-
Bed-Stuy, where my mom grew
my
up,
area
it was
changed
like
a lot,
it's
yeah.
different.
Because where I live at is like that's downtown, so that's an important section of Brooklyn, period, right?
Yeah.
Because all the court buildings and everything that like the Brooklyn Bridge is right there, and they have like everything. The federal building is right there, and it's just everything that you need to go downtown is you have to go there,
Yeah.
right? So it's like the downtown of every borough or city is like one of the main places. So they focused on my area a lot before they spread out to a lot of other parts of Brooklyn because of where it was located. So now when I came home, people that didn't live there before, they did. Like a lot of Asians, and it's different. Yeah, it's different.
Hey, yo, so real quick, I'm not 100% sure, but the stream usually cuts at 3 hours. It's 2:40.
Oh, yeah.
So you got 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Just to let y'all know, like, we good, but.
All right, thank you, Heavy Bags.
I mean, I'm
No, 'cause
I'm
it
not
does
sure
all
because
the
this
time.
is a
Do
new
your thing.
program, so like it might.
okay.
I just wanted to like warn
Check
y'all.
y'all out. Check y'all
My
out.
phone already died. I know. This is just so interesting. Like I'm
God,
losing
no, we're
track of
on.
time.
So yo, real quick too, like not to wrap it up, but like, so how do you do this? You take donations, do you help other people? You said you wanted to get into like,
No, see, without okay, so I don't take donations. What I intend to do is really done really from the heart. Like I don't my idea is I get my finance through just me doing business, right? So if I have a restaurant, like I said, and then I have certain other investments and stuff like that, and I have a lot of stuff that's going happening in the next 2 years. So the other thing that I do is try to get the word out and help people. That's free. I don't really want to monetize that. But in the future, of course, going to taking different visits and stuff like that, like going on the West Coast, and because wrongful convictions is like that's like an epidemic. They have a site called where they track exonerations all across the country, and it's big. Is wrongful convictions have been like you watching the news now. It seems like every other week somebody coming out of prison for something they didn't do, right? And so we see that now that the world is seeing now that it's a really, really big problem. And so it's really to help people, because it's people like us that be on the jury, right? People that have, regular black people, they sit on the jury just like my jury, right? My jury was made up of blacks, whites, right? In fact, my judge was a black lady. My judge was a black lady. My DA was a black guy.
It makes sense. It's
Right.
always us against
Right.
us.
So that's what make the story sort of everything goes against what you would normally think. When you see my courtroom, everybody's black. Right? The DA was black, my lawyer was black, and the judge was black.
Remember what we talked about when you were like, how like it changes you when you were talking about the whole experience and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I wouldn't change it. Genuinely, like we were going back and forth about that.
She was like, yeah.
I was like, no. But not me, because I'm just I was like, I care for the people.
She was like, nah, I couldn't. And that's what I was telling her about the movie, right? Because no one, everyone looks at themselves in the best light, right? Like, nobody's over, if we bold enough, nobody's over here gonna say, hey, you know what? I'm a bitch. Wake up in the morning and say, I'm a fucking bitch. You know what? I really mean it.
No,
that is me sometimes.
You know, right?
Yeah,
like
sad.
you wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm a piece of shit. I'm talking about and really mean it, right?
Sometimes like, yo, I'm funny.
that definitely
I'm
sounds
a
like me. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's me
sometimes,
talking
for
to me.
sure. Yeah.
But you know, everyone wants to think of themselves as a good person or a nice person, right? And so you don't see the subtle changes. You think you're the same person, right? And the correction officer would come in as a nice person, and you see them maybe 12 months later, and they changed. It changed them, right? And that's part of what that movie is about, to show the effects, right? That it can have on a person's psyche, because after a while, it's tough working in there. Let me tell you something. With a lot of the stuff that goes on in there, and on both ends though, and I think you'll probably have a problem, most of a problem, coming from your coworkers. Like, yeah, it's not gonna come from inmates really. Like even on Rikers Island, like it's not. Correctional officers will tell you this too. It's not like. It's a lot of the problems that go on is because of corruption, and it's because of because look, if you become the correction officer and you go to work on Rikers Island, don't you expect criminal behavior? You're working with criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, I would go in there.
But you're not gonna expect that from your coworkers though.
I would go in there very genuine. If the coworkers would have a problem with me, that would be on them. But I've always been this way though. Like I feel like I can be a lone wolf and be completely okay. You know what I'm saying? So if you got a problem with me, that's on you.
But I've seen it. But think about. All right, think about an officer. Think about all those officers, right? That they might be all right, good people. Then they become an officer, right? And then the culture that's going on in the precinct, right? You may think, no, I'm not saying you, because there are people that will say something, but that is very rare.
Little. Yeah.
Very fucking rare. Because look, how many officers did you see whenever something was being done wrong, that another officer came and said something? I seen one video like that on YouTube where one officer checked another officer right there. That is so rare, and I said one. But how many times those officers that killed
George Floyd?
They all stood around.
Right.
And watched.
They all stood around. Everybody got common sense now. You can't tell me one of them didn't feel like, damn, that's wrong. He shouldn't be doing that. Well, he just didn't say nothing. Now, the whole Rikers Island, right? The culture is like this. Right? For example, they'll do things like this. Meet two officers talking. Now, right now, I might be saying there's an inmate that have to go to the visiting floor. Now, I'm the one that's supposed to escort this inmate to the visiting floor, but I'm talking to my fellow officer. Right? So what happens is this person visit, which may be any one of us, is sitting down there waiting. Every second that goes by, this inmate is getting furious because he knows his girl, his mother. Think about the old mother. You got her waiting. He knows the tedious trip that she had to take to get up there. Now you got her waiting. You sit up here talking about nonsense, right? So now this inmate gets pissed off. Her now, she would not do that. I'm not saying you per se, but her 6 months later, because it happens all the time, they say, listen, I've seen it happen. I literally seen a transformation. I'm telling you that when they first come in, they come in as who they are. But you got to remember that job, just like police officer's job, or if you join the military, that's not just joining something. That's an indoctrination. And it has to be an indoctrination. You know why? Because they're asking you to put your life, liberty, and family on the line for someone you don't know.
Yeah, that's
they have to indoctrinate you in order to do that.
That's true.
But there's nobody that like checks them, like says like, like there's nobody higher than them in there that's saying like, no, you didn't do your job. You didn't take them to go see.
That's
nobody
why,
cares.
That's why
the problem.
that's why that saying goes where the system will never indict
never gonna
itself.
change.
Yeah.
Because you would have to
There's nobody
have.
checking
This
that.
is why the people who do it. Look at all the people who've done things like that. What do they call them? Whistleblowers. They get ostracized because they're usually going up against a whole establishment that's doing wrong. Mm-hmm. And you become the oddball.
That's me.
When you listen, fighting for right has never ever been popular throughout the annals of history. Mm-hmm. Everybody who tried to do or say something right, look what happened to them. They either got killed, they got shut up, they're locking you up, they're accusing you of stuff. Some people think the Me Too movement is about it. Some, just the theories, right? But for some people, the sad part about things like that, when you're not able to distinguish truth from fact, fact from fiction, is there's really people who were sexually assaulted. What happens to them, right? And so this is what we're talking about truth. And even in my situation, right? There's people right now that's using my situation to get out of prison who really committed the crime.
Wow. So it's like you can just never really tell.
Right. So this is what I say about the Me Too movement, right? It's so sad for the females who really got sexually assaulted because now nobody believes them. And it makes me so upset for the people who taking advantage of that type of situation, because that's what it does for real victims. I can imagine a person who's been victimized and trying to tell somebody, and they're like, get out of here. Can you imagine that? Right, this is what I'm saying. So it's so sad that you use any platform, right? Even and so that's why, I still help people get out of prison. And so that's one of the things that, because I don't help, like you have to be innocent.
Right.
I'm not helping you get out of jail and you committed the crime. I feel sorry for you. I help you. I give you advice, but I'm not. Right, because this is not a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, this
thing.
is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No. Right. This is for people, because there's really people in there that's locked up for stuff that they didn't do, and so if you're gonna, your energy should be going towards those people, right? Because it's hard enough to get somebody out of prison, period. Right? And then when you think about the people, New York doesn't have it, but when you think about the people that's sitting on death row for crimes that they can commit and that they're gonna get killed, like they're gonna get killed. And I think about that because for me, I almost faced it because the day I was arrested, it just so happened, my luck, it just so happened that day they reinstated the death penalty in New York.
Wow.
Yeah. So the cops was telling me like, oh yeah,
my God.
you killed that little 4-year-old girl, you gonna get killed. They gonna fry you. And it was active. It was active because there was another kid that I was locked up with from East New York, Brooklyn. He also had a murder, and we was around the same age, 19, and he was facing the death penalty. He's still locked up. He actually ended up getting natural life, but he was facing the death penalty for a robbery, murder.
Oh, Marvin. But he doesn't. He says that he's innocent too, or is it
No,
another?
he's not
He's not innocent. Oh, he actually did do it.
Yeah.
It's just still the death penalty.
See, that's the hard
God.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just don't believe. Well, I personally don't believe in the death penalty because I don't think that you should take something that you can't give.
Right.
Yeah.
just
I don't believe. No,
that.
I definitely never.
Right, it's not that I don't
believe in
feel
death
people
penalty.
shouldn't be punished, and I never want people to think that when I talk about the system, that it's me trying to say, you know how like me and my friend talk about this all the time. You know how like today, every rapper, all right, or every person, right, they say free so and so.
All the time.
Right?
All the time.
Yo, we just see one around in there.
Right? Free so-and-so,
Talking about
right?
free little
And then my friend said, but do they really deserve to be free?
Yo, I was
say that all the
talking
time.
about that
Right?
with somebody. I can't remember.
Because what it does is, think about this. Think about what that sounds like to a person like me who really didn't get a crime, who really didn't do a crime, right? You did your crime. Look, we both sitting in prison.
Oh, yeah.
And they saying free you,
Yeah.
right? No, they should be freeing me. You did yours, like, you know what I'm saying, like. So
your crime
I get
that time.
I get the I get the sentiment. I get the sentiment from the people that's saying it for their friends.
Right.
I do get that part, but ultimately, when you really examine that, right, it's almost what I'm saying about the meat. You using you usually when you usually. Because this is a new phenomenon in hip hop with everybody saying that. But 20 years ago, when you started a Free Someone campaign, that person was 9 times out of 10 really innocent.
Yeah. Okay.
Like these people, like think about it. Rihanna and Kim Kardashian, they're not advocating for people who did crimes.
Right. Right.
They're advocating for people that's innocent, that been wrongfully convicted and done dirty by the system.
Love
Right?
them for that.
That's what they're doing. Now, in the urban hip hop community, right, it just needs to be re-examined and have a discussion about the real message that you put out when you have a guy that killed 3 or 4 people and you saying free him, right? Is that not a contradiction to the people in your community? Would you be saying that? Would it be cool if I said that and it was your brother that got killed? Well, how would you feel? Like,
I need to be saying keep it.
right? No, because you can't. At the end of the day, you can't make right wrong. Wrong is wrong. Right is right. Right. You can't justify wrong. If a person did something wrong, then like they say, put an H on your chest.
Take it.
Take it. Do your time. Come home a better person.
That's right.
No, but that's what you know. Some people, that's what they do, right? They did something wrong. They change their behavior. They handle what they have to handle. And they keep it moving, right? But you can't never award undesirable behavior. You really can't. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what that whole thing is about. That's a lot of the things that I've learned in prison, and that's it.
Well, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. I'm so
Yo,
excited.
I want to
Came on
commend
here.
you too for keep fighting, and you
Yes.
know, you got a lot of people in the chat that congrats for making it through a crazy situation. You know, a couple things. So
Thanks, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
I
Thanks for giving me the
appreciate
platform.
you. Thank you so much.
I
And then,
enjoyed it.
let them know, because there's a lot of people in the chat that were asking questions about similar stories. So let them know where they can find you.
Okay, you can look me up. You can Google me. It's like tons of articles about the case. You can cross-reference it with the cop, because anytime like my name comes up, his name will come up. So my name is Sundhe Moses, spelled S-U-N. D as in David, H as in horse, E as in easy. Moses is my last name, M-O-S-E-S. That is also my Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at Zulu_243. We could chat a little bit. I do a bunch of talks, colleges, high schools, and events to kind of raise awareness for wrongful incarcerations and arrests and things, so on and so forth, things like that.
Right. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. Let me hurry up before this gets turned off.
I know, that's what I'm
Okay.
like.
Yes.
it looks like we good, but
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm Yakira Gorgeous.
I'm just Jen.
Yeah, bombshell.
And this is Sundhe Moses. So make sure you guys follow his page for sure. And if you guys want to follow us, that's on y'all. But follow our page, her POV3, to get updated as well. We have a big announcement coming soon. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys listened and follow him.
Very good,
and,
transition.
Oh, I
to
thought you
normal.
cut me. I thought it cut off. I'm like,
No,
wait,
no,
hold on, I wasn't done.
I wanted to say like
Oh,
that's
my
a
bad.
very,
Go ahead.
It's
My
a very
bad.
good transition from like the normal show to like do some real shit every now and then.
Yeah,
So I
this
wanna
is definitely
commend you.
different for us.
We can be serious.
Yeah. Very serious.
I'm not playful all the time. But this was dope. This was great.
Yeah,
this is one of my
this was a
favorite
great
shows.
interview.
So thank you guys for tuning in and stay tuned.